home split after dropping Game 1 to the Pacers. Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter, all game-time decisions for Game 2. Tip-off is at 4 on TNT. The Cavs still favored by 7.5. In the late game, it's Game 1 between the Warriors and Timberwolves in Minnesota. That one set to tip at 6:30 on TNT. The Wolves favored by 6.5. 2 playoff games on the ice tonight as well. In the Eastern Conference, Game 1 between the Hurricanes and Capitals in D.C. Puck drops on ESPN at 4 o'clock. And at 6:30 on ESPN, Game 1 between the Oilers and Golden Knights in Las Vegas. On the diamond, the Mariners have claimed outfielder Leody Taveras after the Rangers put him on waivers. In 30 games this season for Texas, Taveras is hitting .241 with 1 homer and 6 stolen bases. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
The Fan is live on YouTube and Twitch. And now, Window Nation brings you on-demand videos. Watch Window Nation's window into 1080 The Fan.
Hear this, right now.
Welcome.
Primetime with Isaac and Suk.
What is going on up here?
I never know, man.
Unbiased.
Shut your mouth.
Uncompromised sports talk without the
I
sugarcoating.
hope you're happy. You wasted everyone's life for 30 seconds.
Isaac Rupp and Jason Sukanik.
Now shut up and let me do my job.
The best in sports coverage.
You're just gonna be quiet.
This is Primetime with Isaac and Suk on 1080 The Fan.
Hey, what it do?
Ahoy, friends.
What's going on?
Well, you know,
How's everybody doing today?
just a Tuesday.
It
Nice and
is.
warm out there.
Great sports day. You know, I'm really into this. Why'd you change it?
You're really into this Guardians game?
Yeah.
Really?
Great ball game.
Guardians and Nationals. That's the one you're into?
It's 10-8,
Yeah.
dude.
That's live? I thought that all the games started at like 4 today.
You know what it is?
I immediately began searching for something better than Guardians Nationals.
It's 10-8. It's a vicious battle. It was 6-2, and then it was 8-6, and now it's 10-8. What will happen next? You know what it is? It's a doubleheader, Buck.
Yeah, there's nothing else on.
Okay.
Because
Am I
I got
gonna-
rained out yesterday.
Am I going to be forced to Guardians and...
It's a great game.
Boy, I'll tell you what. This is a bold statement because...
Turn it back on, baby.
Oh, it says I'm a bit early. Oh, that's the second one.
Come on,
the
man.
doubleheader.
Get back on there, man.
Come
on, man.
This is nothing against the Guardians or the Nationals. Boy, and I know there's more nondescript teams, but you'd be hard-pressed to find 2 teams I could care less about. Like, there's nothing remotely intriguing about either one of these
They
teams.
seem entirely inconsequential, even though the Guardians are kind of good, right?
I just don't care.
Guardians have Quan.
Yeah,
The Quanner.
The Quanner?
Your
yeah,
guy.
They got
My
that.
guy.
And, you know,
The Easy
you know,
Leave.
the Nationals are in the Mets division, but just that.
Well, there's a lot of that in sports, you know?
Yeah,
it's like
you
2
just-
teams where it's like,
Yeah, you know.
but this is a good game. Good little ball game.
Look, I don't know what to do other than when I sat down and I looked up and saw that it was the Guardian Nationals, I immediately reached for the clicker and was like, there has to be something better on. Turns out there's not.
Well, no, it's only 3.
This is the best thing going on. Yeah, but normally there's an East Coast game.
Not till 4, typically.
By the way, we have an early comment from the YouTube chat. Never heard a more lackluster ahoy.
Well, I think it was because I was forced to watch
Well,
Guardians
he's
Nationals.
trying to do this Ahoy Friends thing.
Yeah, well, that's a different. Yeah.
That's a different.
Ahoy Friends is more of a subdued Jim Nance.
Yeah. And I think it's throwing people off.
I'll save the
Ahoy!
exciting one for Wednesdays, but you know our Tuesday shows. You know, we like our Tuesday
Well,
shows.
how about
but it's
this,
not Wednesday.
YouTuber? Maybe he's not that excited.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, Greg.
We're not always excited in here, except for me.
I can redo it if you want. I love that one guy. There's one guy out there. It's like, you know what? I didn't feel that.
I need
much.
more from you. You
Well,
can be
I
better.
thought it. I just didn't say it.
Look, I think if I apply myself again, I can be a completely different person by next segment.
Look,
so.
we just want a little fake enthusiasm out of you, okay?
See what I can do.
I get it. You're on vacation hangover. You're in Italy, and now you have to work, and you're like, it's like easing into a hot tub.
Yeah, the jet lag, I think, is starting to catch up with me today. I did feel a little tired and sluggish today.
Yeah,
I got something's on.
Yeah, you're back.
That's a lot of time zones.
Yeah, you're back into a 9 hours, I think it was. Like you're back into routine now, and like you're going about your day to day.
Yeah,
and
and
you're
isn't
like,
it
God, this is
lame?
my life.
Yeah, right. Like you you get slapped right back down to earth. You're like,
You just look around. Well, normally around this time, I would have been like, at least a bottle of wine in, and that's not, well, I guess you could do it, but it's really not feasible on a day-to-day basis to be wine drunk at 3 o'clock. But I've been used to being wine drunk for the last 2 weeks, and now I've got to go back to sobriety. And let me tell you, sobriety is a hell of a thing. It's just like it's a wake-up call. You're like, oh man.
see, I found
Greg's coming in hot. He says, not buying this bullsh. And then Nathan says, what is ahoy in Italian?
I would assume ahoy is universal.
Probably.
I think
I
we
don't know
all-
if there is an Italian ahoy.
Is there an Italian love boat? I mean, I was in Venice. They're on the boats. Believe me, I dropped a couple of ahoys when I was on the high seas of the Venice canals.
They're just saying ciao.
Chow?
Yeah.
Well, so if I look, I think if you ahoy somebody, I think they know. Like if you drop an ahoy, you know. Some things are universal.
When I went to Italy many years ago, when I was 12, I thought that I was going to drink a lot of wine.
Yeah.
And we did with dinner.
Mhm.
But what ended up happening was we would drink limoncellos and Aperol spritzes
We got a lot of spritzes.
like all day.
Yeah.
Because you find that while the wine is great, they just put those carafes of table wine on.
You just go.
They just give them to you.
Yeah, you're just like, hey, house red, and it shows
They just
up.
put them on there.
yeah.
They don't even. You don't even ask you. It's like the salt and pepper shaker in
Wine
Italy.
and bread. It's
So I found that
You
was
just go.
great, but early in the day, it's like, by 2 or 3, it's like, oh, I need a nap. Whereas the Aperol spritzes and the limoncello spritzes,
You can keep it going.
oh, you can just power, and you get a nice crescendo to the evening.
And you can start early on those.
You sure can.
Well, I'm here to tell you can also start early on wine.
You sure can.
You can start early on anything.
It's vacation. You can do
I'm
whatever
just
you want,
talking
baby.
about planning your day
Look,
when
I'll-
you're 12.
I'll be honest, the amount of times that, especially in Florence, that as I left the apartment, the first stop was a slice of pizza and a glass of wine. Yeah, it was more than a few. That was the walk-in slice, and you can't have if I'm having a walk-in slice, I need something to wash it down with, and hey, just maybe a paper cup full of wine, and away I go. It was just you kind of get used to it. So, yeah, the liver right now is in a state of detox. And I told myself I'm not going to drink for a while.
Oh, come on.
And what'll happen is
What's the matter with you?
Friday night will roll around. Okay, Thursday night, Wednesday afternoon. Sometime in the near future, that seal will get broken, and then I'll just go back to ignoring it. But for right now, I am planning on taking a bit of a break.
No, you're not. I mean, you might plan on it, but it's not going to work
I'm
out.
planning. I'm allowed to plan. I'm allowed to have goals.
Yeah, but
I'm
we
allowed
all
to have dreams.
We all do this,
I know.
and it usually lasts a night.
Hey.
Maybe. I mean, for those of you that really don't drink all that much, maybe a week you could do.
Yeah.
But for guys like me, I mean, it's not like I'm getting hammered every night.
Yeah.
Like I didn't drink last night.
Mhm.
Do you know what I can't wait for?
What?
Glass of wine tonight.
Yeah. It is delightful.
And I earned that
You
because
did.
I didn't even drink last night.
Look at that.
I didn't have a drink.
You are.
Can you believe that?
I mean, good for you.
Yeah,
You
thanks.
definitely earned that glass.
But then you're
tonight.
like, oh, well, I feel really good this morning. Maybe I won't drink tonight. Oh, come on. Be silly.
Why not?
I like wine
Well, it's
way too much.
It's delicious. And
Nice
as-
rosé tonight on an 85-degree day.
I'll tell you right now.
Come on.
People may criticize the I don't know, the less masculine of the beverages, but rosé, a nice chilled rosé, come on.
No, it's great.
That's just delightful.
Here's
Rosé
another
all
thing
day,
that's
man.
happened to me as I get older. I'm moving more into the whites.
Yeah,
That's where that came from.
That's what I heard.
I was also I was drinking an Aperol Spritz in Vegas one time because Aperol Spritzes, I mean, look, it's a little girly. Let's not be,
Go with your Shirley Temple there,
It's just that it's a really good, easy drink in sort of just multiple cocktail drink.
Sure.
Because it's like, I think that here in the States, I think we're starting to get more easy drinkers, like just daily, because like the pub beers and things like that.
Sure.
But I don't drink a lot of beer, so just a good tasting drink that I can drink several of and not be
Yes.
schloss. I don't want to drink whiskey all day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the Aperol.
Well, I don't want to go to meetings.
Once I went to Italy, the Aperol Spritz became that for me at times. Just
Sure.
depends. If it's warm out, I just kind of crave one now. And so I was in Vegas and I had one and I sat down at the Paigo table and the pit boss absolutely chastised me
Yeah,
for being female.
it happens.
Yeah, and I thought, maybe I won't play her.
You're trying to. Well,
Maybe I'll take my money
and
elsewhere.
when you do that, it feels a little.
It was personal.
Well, it's like you're overcompensating. I get this a lot because I'm strictly a dad beer guy.
You think he was overcompensating?
He's
Like,
overcompensating.
He's trying to you got to be a man. You got to have a
manly.
whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, no, I don't.
Well, I love to.
Not at all hours.
There was someone at the station who remained nameless once that tried to call me on something like that. That tried to do the whole man card thing, and it was like, really, like. Be careful calling out someone's man card. Like, it's really embarrassing if you just get your ass beat by someone that you're calling less manly. Like, be careful throwing around, like, what's your definition of manly? my definition of manly is being confident as a male to have. By the way, have you had the limoncello spritz?
Yeah, we just talked about
Well,
it
you
yesterday.
talked about the Aperol spritz.
No, I said yesterday
Yeah.
we were talking about Italy.
Yeah, because you were
drinking.
Yeah, the
And I said the
limoncello.
limoncello spritz, you got to be careful because those are way more. They're
so-
way stronger than Aperol spritzes.
They're so good.
And they're really good in Italy because they have wonderful lemons there.
Yes.
But the Aperol spritzes, you got to be careful. You will get. That's why I was telling you. My wife got really spritzed.
got tanked.
That was Aperol, or that was lemon cello, not Aperol.
See, this idea that somehow you're calling someone out for something less manly, I usually think that is someone that is very insecure.
Well,
when you do
yes.
that, it's like, okay, tell me you have a small penis without telling me you have a small penis. Get out of here with that.
Well, many traditional measures of masculinity
Yes.
are just that.
Yes.
And men don't even know it. They just think, oh yeah, I'm so strong. Yeah, you look like a douche.
Well, so
and
like
you look like you're, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of that goes. You're right. Let's go back to this. The idea of being masculine is being comfortable in your own skin to the point where you can do what the hell you want.
Yes.
And not and just rock it.
Not for everybody, though.
You just rock it.
Dude, one of the scariest dudes I know is like he does the painted toenails, painted fingernails thing. He kind of has that aggressive mom haircut. Like he looks like maybe he shops at the Liz Claiborne section. And I think he does that on purpose to, like, he is a terrifying human being. And the amount of people that have probably picked a fight with that guy or tried to bully him and found out very, very quickly, be careful judging the feminine book by the cover. It's hilarious.
Well, let's be careful judging any book.
Any
by
book
its
by
You
its
don't know
cover.
who's tough. You don't
No.
know who knows jujitsu.
No.
I mean, just because they're quiet and dainty doesn't mean they
No.
can't kick your ass.
Exactly.
This is what men don't understand.
Or enjoy a delightful spritz.
you can do
from
whatever the
time
hell
to
you
time.
want. And guess what? If you own
kick
it,
your ass, you little bitch.
the ladies will love it more than they love you.
Yeah. I do enjoy it because whenever I go to one of these brew pubs or whatever, I like dad beers. I don't like IPAs. I don't like the dark stout. So I always do the standard. I just ask, I'm like, what's your best dad beer? And they almost always know what I'm talking about. And you get their, their best light lager or whatever, and it's delightful. And you do get shamed, especially by hipster beer douche. I'm sorry. I don't want to drink your double hazy IPA that tastes like pancake batter. Not interested in it.
Real people don't shame anyone for much of anything. You know, like
Yeah.
there's no reason to shame anyone for anything. How about just live your life and just let people live their lives?
Look, can this just be where we open a bottle of rosé at right? Is there one in the house? Because I could have a glass right
I'll
now.
take one.
Is there a way for us to?
Oh my God, there's our new boss. Dusty's in there.
The fan man. I think if
We
anyone,
won't be drinking rosé.
No, not at all. But a spritz.
Wait, he just flipped me off.
Oh, that's not.
No, he
very
said you
nice.
should drink rosé.
Oh,
By the
thank
way,
you.
that's not
Probably make for
very
a better show.
bossly. Hello. By the way, is it problematic that I have like
Yes,
a horrid text chain back and forth with our new boss?
very.
Yeah, it's a little.
He has stuff on you.
Well, and I have stuff
He's-
on him.
You're like Jordan Hudson to our Bill Belichick.
No, dude, we've got mutually assured destruction. He's got nukes, but I've got him too, and we're pointed at each other.
I don't think you have anything from him.
Oh, I do.
Look at his face.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, he
Yeah.
does.
Off
Yeah.
camera, can't see it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. We've got it pointed at each other. I mean, we're Russia and the
Hey,
U.S.
that's a good spot
That's
to
a good
be.
spot to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he'll leave you
If you
alone.
don't make it, he doesn't either.
Yep.
Exactly. We're like,
Yeah.
hey, let's
Truce.
keep mutually assured destruction. Let's all just keep this.
Your tenure hasn't even started yet, Dusty, and Sook's already on the air talking about dirt he has on you. See what he does there? He's unbelievable.
Oh no, dude, it's
You're
more.
amazing at it.
He's got more on me. Look, the amount of nukes
Yeah.
pointed, it's more in his favor.
It doesn't matter the amount.
Yeah.
One is
One.
enough, and you know that.
Well, this is like
This was a
when-
purpose pitch by you, and I like it.
This was a. I didn't.
Yeah,
mean it to be.
I
Well,
think you know what you're doing, and I like it.
Well, you ever have that friend that like you grew up with him and then like he becomes like a respectable member of the community?
No.
And you're or like you're afraid like he becomes like a surgeon or something and you're like, "Oh my God. Like that's you?" It's weird.
The filthiest guy I know is a surgeon.
Oh, see, there you go. And now it's like,
He's a buddy of mine from KU.
yeah, and
He's filthy.
you've seen him do things that a surgeon shouldn't do. And now he's a surgeon. People
No,
are putting
I've just heard him say things that no one should say.
yeah.
But he's very funny. It's just
And now lives
like when
are
we
in
were
his
at
hands.
KU, he was always studying, so he was kind of the med student.
Oh,
he had to work
Yeah.
and study. But yeah, he's filthy.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
filthy mouth. On
It's
that
weird
one.
when that person goes on to do like important, successful things.
Well, he's the one that, and you don't believe this, but he's the one that says what he does is not that important. Well, it's important, but he says it's not that hard.
See, I can't. He claims that he could teach
Yes,
you.
yes.
No.
He claims that he could teach me to do what he does,
Moron.
which I think is right. I trust him. He's the one that's been through 12 years of medical school. He's like, dude, here, cut this right here, pull that right. Oh, not that.
It's like a pilot's like, oh, you could land this plane. No, you can't. Here's the problem. That dude is putting his talent and thinking because it's easy for him
He's not talented.
that you can
He's
do it.
not talented.
Yeah,
he's
not
just,
at all. Not at all.
He's
Yeah.
just educated. You just got to go through all the.
Sure.
You got to jump through all the hoops.
Oh my
Not
God.
everybody jumps through all the hoops.
Stop it.
But once you do, it's super easy.
Stop
It's just that there's a lot of regulations and hoops you got to jump through. And once you get there, it's fine.
This guy
You
says-
could cut out a spleen.
This guy says we have a kid that is a priest now, and I cannot take him seriously. Just
kid?
loud. Yeah, his kid. His kid's a priest.
Ooh,
Boy,
that's weird.
You want to talk about a mind bender?
Yeah, that is.
Like
What is-
Eiserman goes on to be a man of God. Like
What is the worst profession your kid could be without? Let's not.
yeah.
Let's keep it above board.
Yeah,
like
not on
legitimate
the pole
profession.
And OnlyFans.
What's the worst?
Like to make
I
you
wouldn't mind my kid being a priest. I think that's nice for those that
Yeah,
need
yeah.
that or want that
It would just be
or
weird.
like that. Why is that weird?
Well, what if your kid well, you'd be dead, but like if your kid goes on to be Pope, it's like you're proud, but at the same time,
Dude, that'd be unbelievable.
it'd be weird.
You fathered a pope?
I guess that is kind
That's
of bad.
not weird.
Yeah, but those popes are all old, so you'd be dead.
Yeah. You wouldn't see the.
No. I'm trying to think of like what would be the worst? Like define worst. Like most uncomfortable, most awkward, just shameful.
Just like, ooh, because he says he can't take him seriously. Maybe that. Like,
You couldn't take him seriously. And this goes back
sports
to
talk host.
yeah.
Yeah, YouTube chat says it's got to
Yeah.
be radio host.
Well,
My dad's sitting there shaking his head. Like,
and I don't mean to like
You have
again.
no
This goes
idea.
back to like the whole masculine thing, and I had a guy. I wouldn't say he was a friend, but he was a guy that I went to school with,
I hated him.
and he was a college cheerleader. And whenever like I'd watch his dad, you could see the look of, because like he would,
I'm trying to be supportive, but deep down I'm not.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
one of those, right? Because like. The dad was proud of him, but at the same time, you knew the dad was like deep down, like, really?
My brother's a Catholic priest, insufferable know-it-all. Gosh.
Yeah.
Illegal arms dealer? What about? I mean, would you be
Oh,
would you be
gosh.
kind of proud?
He's rolled. Yeah, like a narco, So
Someone
Yeah,
said strip club DJ, like that dude that got
There you
stabbed
go.
in
Like I
Casa
said,
That's
Diablo.
the
wait a minute. We got it above board. Like real careers.
real career. Hey,
That's not a
strip
real-
club
He was in
DJ is
music.
not a real career.
He's
Look
in
at
music.
you shaming.
No, that's not a real career.
And by the way, you are telling, he's in the music industry. What? I don't know.
He's telling people that.
He's just dabbling in.
yeah, see, come on. I could be a strip club DJ.
I think anyone could be a strip club DJ,
Exactly.
right? Welcome to the stage, Cinnamon. 2 for
Ooh,
Tuesdays.
usually a
Let's
good one.
I mean, really, come on.
Yeah.
I don't know what that
Not like an
pays, but-
embalmer, like
Well,
somebody
yeah.
that like preps dead bodies.
I have a buddy who's owns a funeral home, and that's a little.
Morose.
It's a good job, though.
It is, but it's a little weird. And to hear him,
Yeah.
I got to be careful.
That's probably a.
There's just some stories, and it's like, ooh.
Well, and there's an assumption too that I've always wondered: is there stuff going on like we're knowing?
Ooh.
Yeah, it's.
What do you mean? Like,
I
what?
don't know. I don't trust.
What?
If you're handling dead bodies, I don't trust you. I think weird stuff goes on.
Well, it's probably one of those things where you get really used to it,
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't trust.
and you're always alone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't trust it. I think the people that want to be in that profession, you got something going down. I'm not making accusations, but I'm making accusations.
My friend's son is a bank manager. My buddy scoffs at it.
What's wrong
Why?
with
That's a good little job.
that? Yeah.
Nothing to be ashamed of.
And you can run that up the line. A lot of people do with the
Yeah.
organization.
That's right.
Dude, I think you're onto something with the death stuff. The mortician tax, that
Taxidermy.
taxidermy.
You stuff dead
Yeah,
animals.
I
Why would you? Yeah, like
I think you got something going on. I think there's something a little off.
thank you for being with us today. We will start with headlines next on the Fan.
It's back. The Fan.
Oh, we were discussing listeners whose kids, one of them was a priest, and he can no longer take his kids seriously, which I find that odd, but okay. I mean, I think it's fine profession. Great. My father was a priest.
Yeah.
I took him seriously, but maybe when it's your kid, it's different. I don't know. Anyway, all of a sudden, people are chiming in. We've got one guy who says his stoner drinking buddy is now a Multnomah County sheriff.
Look, I have a lot of cop friends, but I will tell you that if you had to be careful, if you had to pick one legitimate profession that the biggest problematic youth go on to do, like on a regular basis, it's a cop.
Ooh.
It's a cop.
That's good.
Yeah, because cop it's a good job. It pays well. It's a position of authority for the most part. It's respected, maybe not by some, but that is an upstanding profession. And I'm willing to guess that profession has more childhood F-ups.
A lot of troubled youth.
A lot of
with a chip on their shoulder.
A lot of angry high school pent-up rage, a lot of check the tape high school.
For this career, if you stay on the straight and narrow, they give you a gun.
Yeah. I think there is more of
and
that.
some power.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because it's the easiest power to grab. Is it the lowest hanging power?
It's the lowest hanging power.
And it's a lot of power.
Yes. Again, it's a gun. Not many jobs. Not too many jobs give you a
and
badge.
A car.
Well, we've all seen the video where the cop, it's like, you will do what I say when I say it, no matter what.
Right. They love that.
And that's two things. That's the person that either got bullied or it was the bully. So you get it from both. You get it from both sides of the plate. It's the switch hitter. And yeah, as long as you're like, you don't have a criminal record and you can kind of read and write and you go through the academy, like you can get into law enforcement.
There was someone that I knew not too long ago.
Yeah.
And he shall remain nameless. But nicest, I mean the nicest guy ever.
Yeah.
But boy, was he troubled and awfully dumb.
Yeah.
And he worked at a place that I went to sometimes, and I once ran into him and he said, Isaac, I'm going to train to be a cop.
You're like, oh my.
And I'm like, oh no,
Please
no, don't take him.
Yeah.
And I saw him months later and he said, I failed.
Good.
I was like, in my head, I'm like, yes.
You're like, hey, sorry, man, but deep down, you're like, no one should give you a badge and or a gun.
I would never tell him this. I'm like, oh my God, the world is a better place.
Well, and you know what that guy probably ended up doing? He works for a security company now. He's one of
guaranteed.
Yeah, he works for Metro.
I think he said prison or jail.
Oh, there you go.
Because that's the poor man's power grab.
Yeah.
Like
it's a guy who can't. It's
like
nicest guy ever.
No one will give me real authority, but I'll take some of this lesser authority over here.
Former college cheerleader here, and I was constantly punching above my weight class with the ladies. Father was very proud.
Was he?
Yeah, see, that deep down,
Yeah.
Dad.
Think of where the generation they're coming from.
I think that dad was like, is my son...
But he hugs him and is like, I love you, son.
Well, you have to. That's what you do.
That's what you do.
Yeah, good father. We never say what we really think, right?
I would hope not. Covered a lot of ground so far in these two segments.
I work for an orthopedic manufacturing company. Rob could 100% learn to perform surgery. It's wood shop on bones.
No, you can't, because you are the least handy person I know.
Actually, that's not true. You know what I got a compliment from the other day?
Or
who?
No. What?
My father-in-law was a builder by trade.
Yeah.
He was a construction guy.
Yeah.
He complimented me to my wife how good I am with my hands. And she was like, yeah, he's great.
Right.
He knows what's up.
Yeah.
He's been paying attention.
And what were you doing with your hands?
Oh, I don't know. He's observed.
Were you pouring a drink?
I was pouring concrete, dude.
Yeah, no.
I'm a mason.
No.
Look, I've gotten pretty good over the years. And he noticed. And I thought I looked at her and I went,
Isn't he dying, by the way?
Well, yeah, but what does that have to do with anything?
Let's just call into question,
God.
maybe.
Oh, you're an idiot. Somebody else said it's not the actual surgery is not the hard part. It's knowing what to do. And that's what my buddy says.
Okay,
Like if he says, here, do this, I can do it.
No, you can't.
I love how you think you know better than an actual surgeon.
I wish
You're an
we
idiot.
could put this to the I'm bringing in the game of Operation tomorrow, and guess what?
Dude, I was great.
You're touching the metal sides of that thing, the shaky drinker over there, please.
Oh, come on.
You're
Look at
killing,
that.
You're
Look at
killing
that.
that red-nosed
Look at that.
bastard left and right.
Look at that. Look at that steady hand right there.
I see a lot of bzz, bzz. You're not pulling out the wishbone in the bread
look,
basket.
You're cutting out a spleen.
I'm
You can
bringing
hit
in-
the sides.
I'm bringing in Operation tomorrow.
Operation's kind of a flawed game if you think about
That
it.
tests a steady hand. I want to see that.
Did it get you? Yeah.
Who's the world's most accomplished stoner?
Joe Rogan, maybe?
Seth Rogen?
Yeah, Seth Rogen.
Ooh, Seth Rogen.
The
That's
Rogans?
good.
Dude, the one thing I've learned is I've gotten
What about
old-
Snoop?
Yeah.
Oh, money-wise, it might be Snoop.
Snoop.
Well, no, dude. I'm telling you.
Well, that's true. There's
The older I've gotten, what I've realized is there are way more drug addicts that are successful than. I guarantee there's a stock trading bro who runs a hedge fund that is knee deep in coke and whores 24/7 and is worth like $2 billion.
There was I don't even know that it was urban legend, but there was a pretty widespread understanding the dude who was the Men's Warehouse guy, George Zimmerman, I guarantee it, huge stoner, has a Men's Warehouse empire.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Cheech and Chong.
Yeah.
They're pretty successful.
But again, these are all, I'm telling you, dude, it's the finance bros.
Well, Bill Gates was a stoner.
Yeah, that makes
but
sense.
that, I mean, it's the 70s.
Exactly.
Who wasn't?
Drugs are, never mind. Just going to stop that one.
Drugs are what?
Well,
You're an idiot, Sue.
well, when you're a kid, look, drugs are terrible. Don't do them. They're awful. Just say no.
They can lead to good things. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Carl Sagan.
I'm just saying, like when
Carl
you're a
Sagan.
kid, they're like, if you do drugs, you will end up homeless and on the street. And, and then you get to be an adult and some of the most
Yeah.
successful people you know are doing drugs all the time. And you're like, what? Like
Michael
you're not
Phelps?
you're not performing tricks on the street for $10 baggies. Guy's got like the nicest house, dude's worth a couple $1 million and the dude's got a massive drug problem.
It is interesting that we used to have to scare kids.
Yeah.
Why didn't we just talk to them honestly?
I don't know.
Instead of just lying to them and
Yeah.
putting the fear of God into them. What was that tactic?
I don't know.
Not very helpful.
No, the DARE program was the dumbest program of all
Was
time.
that Nancy Reagan?
That was Nancy Reagan. Guess what? The war on drugs is over and drugs won. Plain and simple.
Ooh, Willie Nelson. That's a good one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roll
Rick
me up and
Steves.
smoke me when I die.
Headline. Now we're gonna get to headlines. You guys want to hit?
Maybe.
That's next. Here is Buck.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by 808 Hawaiian Restaurant. Mixed plates like Grandma used to make if your grandma were from the Big Island, Woodstock, Burnside, Beaverton, or online, ate-oh-ate.com. First on the Fan, a pair of playoff games on the hardwood tonight as the Cavaliers try to salvage a home split after dropping Game 1 to the Pacers. Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter, all game-time decisions for Game 2. Tip-off is at 4 on TNT. The Cavs are still favored by 7. In the late game, it's Game 1 between the Warriors and T-Wolves in Minnesota. That one's set to tip off at about 6:30 on TNT. The Wolves are favored by 6.5. 2 playoff games on the ice tonight as well. In the Eastern Conference, Game 1 between the Hurricanes and Capitals in D.C. Puck drops at 4 on ESPN. And at 6:30 on ESPN, Game 1 between the Oilers and Golden Knights in Las Vegas. On the diamond, the Mariners have claimed outfielder Leody Taveras after the Rangers put him on waivers. In 30 games this season, Taveras is hitting .241 with 1 homer and 6 stolen bags. The M's are in Sacramento again tonight, taking on the Athletics. Emerson Hancock on the hill for Seattle. Jeffrey Springs gets the ball for the A's. First pitch at 7:05. And Kentucky Derby winner Sovereignty will not run in next month's Preakness Stakes. There will be no Triple Crown this year. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
It's back. The 11th annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms Golf Club happens Tuesday, June 24th. Presented by your local Toyota dealers. Reserve your foursome now at 1080thefan.com.
Hey, it's Souk. Vulcan Design and Construction helped me turn my backyard into a true outdoor living space. Now the area I used a few times a year is my favorite place to hang out year-round. To check out their award-winning designs for yourself or to book your free consultation, go to vulcandc.com.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-265-7681. 800-265-7681. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-265-7681.
You know your customers. Ralph likes his coffee black on Fridays, but Mondays he takes a little cream. Jennifer comes in every 3 years when her lease is up to get the newer and better model. And for some reason, pepperoni pizza sells like crazy on Friday nights. Who knew? At Odyssey, we have the expertise to get your media plan done right. With ads like you're hearing right now, to targeted social media campaigns, search engine optimization, and location-based advertising. Advertise with Odyssey and help us grow your business. Visit ads.odyssey.com.
The original home, The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Let's go to the opposite of the Boston Celtics. Literally the opposite team. The Denver Nuggets, who as an underdog went into OKC and dominated the late game situations. The Nuggets shoot the fewest threes in the NBA. They live at the free throw line because Jokic can create.
Yeah. Really.
Talk about Shooter Sanders' number. That was the headline on ESPN.
I know. Somebody texted me about that. Or, I mean, they sent me a...
Did they really?
Yeah. Well, he's a big Browns fan. He's a listener to the program. His name is Mark.
Big Browns fan, huh?
And I have been thinking about this all day. I have no idea what he is saying. He said... Because he emails me from time to time, and it's always about Brown stuff.
I like that you have a secret, like a one-off chat going about the Cleveland Browns.
Well, I don't really. He just emails me. I rarely respond. It's just, he listens.
Yeah.
He knows I talk sports. So.
It's an outpouring of Browns love.
He said he chose jersey number 2. This is all his email says.
Yeah.
He chose jersey number 12. 12 by 12 equals 144. Just saying, go Browns. And then in parentheses, he has, ugh.
12 by 12 equals 1.
What does that mean? And I didn't want to say, hey, what does that mean?
I'm pretty sure he was drafted 144th overall. So it's like meant to be or something. It's like sports fans getting geeky with numbers.
Really? Was he?
I think.
Is that really what that means?
Shedeur Sanders was drafted by the Cleveland Browns, 5th round, 144th overall pick.
Look at me.
So there you go. But why would 12? Well, 12
Should
by
have your own show.
12? But what is that?
I don't know. I still don't get it.
So if he was drafted something else, we could have done 12 by 11. Like what?
Yeah, sports fans like to get a little too in the weeds with the numbers must mean something, I think.
When is the media going to have to come to the conclusion that the guy's not very good and he's not going to play in Cleveland? What, like,
maybe it's Mike. Is it Mark? I think it's Mike.
Mark.
I don't know. He's a Browns guy.
All
right. Headlines. Everything went according to planned until it didn't. Last night.
Yeah.
You had 2 last-minute comebacks. You had 2 game-winning plays. You had 2 stunning upsets.
One down by 20, the other down by 14.
Yeah. Buck was asking the question, who blew it more? I think Oklahoma City did.
Well,
I mean, they both blew it, but Celtics just missed a bunch of shots because all they do is chuck threes.
I got to pull this up.
OKC should never have lost that game.
Well, no, because Boston down the stretch, like, you just miss shots. I saw in the third quarter, I saw their shot chart. I believe they took 18 or 19 field goals. Would you care to guess how many of those were not 3-pointers? And by the way, this is when they were up by 20 and then the Knicks started making their comeback.
Well, I'm going to say 0.
1. They had a dunk. They had one made, not just made, they had one attempt that wasn't a 3-pointer in the entire third quarter. The shot chart is bananas. Like I couldn't believe it.
And
so
look, well, they won a championship.
Yes.
So you got to hand them that. But can I make a case for why no one should like watching the Celtics?
You can make a very strong case.
Yeah, and you can add to this if you'd like, but I would just like to report that I really hate watching the Celtics.
Yeah.
Because, 1, they shoot 800 3-pointers, which is boring.
Yep.
2, they're coached by Hannibal Lecter. And
Actually
3,
kind of like him. He's crazy.
Their fans are donkeys.
Yes.
And they just won the championship, so F the Celts.
I couldn't agree more.
I am rooting the Knicks just last night, because I don't care about the Knicks either, but just last night with Jalen Brunson, the Knicks and Bridges stealing the ball from Brown at the end, Knicks made me a fan, at least for that series.
Yeah.
I'm all team Knicks.
Yeah.
Me and Spike.
Whereas, like, Oklahoma City, you can point to, like, 6, like, comedy of errors down the stretch that they lost the game. So I'm with you. Bigger choke job was Oklahoma City, but
they shouldn't have lost.
But can we also say that, by the way, neither one of these series, like Oklahoma City and Boston, are going to win this series? Like, think about that. Boston missed 63 pointers and still had a chance to win.
No, that's not true.
What?
Let's be fair to them.
What?
They shot 63 pointers. They missed 45.
45. Yes, they were 45 of 60. Be fair. So they did that and still had a top opportunity at the end of the game. Oklahoma City was better than Denver for every second of that game, minus the final 2 minutes. Like, and by the way, like if Oklahoma City if Chet Holmgren just makes a free throw, if they can just foul and let the clock run for 4 seconds, like there's no way they lose that game. And by the way, Jokic has one of the great playoff performances of all time, and Denver still needs a kind of a miracle at the end.
But they did lose
to win that. But this is my point. We do this all the time, where someone loses a game, and then we're like, "Oh my God!" I promise you, right? What can I get right now to double down? And I don't think they go 7. I'll bet you Oklahoma City and Boston both win in 6 because those two teams are significantly better than Denver and New York. Last night was one of those weird nights where their head was up their ass. Boston will not shoot like that the rest of the series. And Oklahoma City is just so much more talented than Denver. I mean, my God, Michael Porter Jr. can't even be on the floor. Jokic is about ready to murder someone on the bench because he knows that the rest of his team sucks.
Porter Jr.'s hurt, right?
Yeah, he's got a bad shoulder.
He's got a bum shoulder.
Like they play like 7 guys. Oklahoma City is going to blow them out, and
so
were blowing them out.
City now is minus 330 to win the series, and then I'll get the series exact price. You want 6 or 5?
In 6.
Plus 235 for the Thunder.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a little parlay here. Boston and Oklahoma City both in 6, and we love to freak out about these sorts of things, and we like, oh my God, they look at this. No, Oklahoma City is that much better than Denver, and Boston is that much better than New York.
So Boston is minus 340 to win the series.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City, as he said, well, I have minus 290 here. I'm looking at DraftKings, but
Yeah.
roughly in that range. Minnesota minus 180. They haven't even played yet. Golden State. And Cleveland is minus 190 at this point. So they still like Boston the most, and I would agree with that. I mean, I think Boston wins. I could see a scenario where the Nuggets bounce the Thunder. I don't think it will happen, but I mean, when you have the MVP,
but this is the Nuggets have been so erratic all year. They fired their coach with a handful of games left in the year. They just their saving grace is they have the best player in the world. And he will not go. What was it? Was he at 42 and 22 and 6 last night?
That's right.
He will not go for 42, 22 and 6. And they needed every one of those. It's not, they don't have the depth and they don't have the talent. And we make such a big deal. Oklahoma City lacks the championship experience. They're going to be fine. Oklahoma City, this will be the wake up call that Oklahoma City needs. Whatever that spread is in game 2, I'm laying the points. Oklahoma City is going to blow the brakes off of the Denver Nuggets in game 2.
Wow, such confidence.
You can also get
Let's
them
take a look.
minus 1.5 games on the series at even money. So in 5 or in 6.
Yeah. We do this all the time.
The line is 11.
11. I'll go ahead and lay it. They're going to blow Denver out. They're going to absolutely blow.
Boston is favored by 10.5.
Did you watch the bulk of that game?
Yeah, and I did, and I thought that Jokic wasn't even that good.
Yeah.
Until he was. It was a weird game for Jokic because he goes 42, 22 and 6, but for the vast majority of the game they were losing by double digits. And kind of not that good.
Yeah.
And yet they win, and then you look at his line and go, "Oh my God, where did he get 42?" And then you remember a couple of big shots he hit. I don't know. It was just to your point, it was kind of a fluky game.
Yes, it was.
That said, if you only play a 7-game series, when you steal one and it's on somebody else's court, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City certainly has the talent to rebound, but I would say of the 3, actually, the Cavs, Pacers, Knicks, Celtics, or Nuggets, Thunder, I would say the one team that would have the best chance to win the series would be Denver.
See, to me, it's Indiana because Cleveland's just so beat up. I mean, Garland may not play all series. Hunter is banged up, and now Mobley's got a sprained ankle. That's the one that I would look at and say injuries. But just for the majority of that night, Oklahoma City and the defense they played outside of Jokic, they can really cause problems for Oklahoma City can cause problems for Denver. And I just think Oklahoma City got complacent down the stretch there. Jokic had an all-timer game, and then just Holmgren missing free throws, Shea not running clock on the
when we come back, let's
breakaway.
talk about Oklahoma City's strategy.
And then the fouling.
Because it was really odd.
Yeah.
And they really cost themselves, even the way it played out, they blew it. But Denver stole the game, but Oklahoma City, there is a lot of blame for them. And that's the coach of the year.
Yep.
I mean, there's little tiny things, but they all added up, and we will get to that when we return here on The Fan.
The Fan is live on YouTube. The Fan.
Coming up at the top of the hour, the Ravens have cut Justin Tucker.
In the nicest way possible.
And we will discuss that. But we are talking about last night's wild NBA slate. And it was just 2 games.
Yeah.
But it was great.
Both had the same kind of vibe where it was like, the overwhelming favorite looks good for 3.5 quarters and then whoops.
Yeah, so this Oklahoma City guy, he is not the reigning coach of the year. He won it last year because Kenny Atkinson just won for the Cavs. But my point is, you have an interim coach in Adelman who I'm kind of rooting for. If I'm being honest, I was all in on Oklahoma City because I like what they built. Mm-hmm. But last night I'm like, ooh, I kind of want to root for Denver now because 1, Jokic, and 2, Adelman, and just, I don't know, underdog. But Adelman, he's an interim coach, and he's going up against the coach of the year from last year, and that guy could not have jacked it up any worse, the Oklahoma City guy.
No, it was brutal.
Because I'm a fan of fouling when you're up 3. Mm-hmm. I have no problem with that.
Makes sense.
But how they did it, I mean...
Twice they fouled with no time gone off the clock. If
you're milking a lead, the clock must bleed.
Yeah.
That was my Johnny Cochran. This is my sports Johnny Cochran.
I like where you're going with that.
If you're milking a lead, the clock must bleed. What are you doing?
I don't know.
And you fouled and let Jokic back into the game.
Yeah. Both of those. And then, you had the one where Shea had the breakaway, and, I get it. It's an easy hoop, but at that point, just go kill clock. You're a 90% free throw shooter. He could have bled 4 to 5 seconds just running around, forcing them to foul him. They had, and then, by the way, if Chet just hits some free throws.
What's his percentage?
I want to say he's like a 70% free throw shooter.
Yeah, I think it's like 78. He's usually decent, better than that.
Let me look and see what.
Did he choke? Was that a choke?
It was a choke.
He also missed a dunk down the stretch that would have.
He's a 78% free throw shooter for his career,
and he missed them both.
Both. 75 this year, almost 76. Yeah, he missed them both. So,
and even that on the inbound, why is he part of the play getting the ball?
Well, and by the way, give Jokic credit. I mean, people have pointed out that ball was supposed to go to Shea, who was a 90% free throw shooter, and Jokic's defense forced it into Chet's hands. But dude, you're a career 78% free throw shooter. You got him, and I guess if he had made one, it still wouldn't have mattered.
But if you make the second, you can set your defense.
You can set your defense. By the way, did anyone else? When that rebound happened and it ended up in Westbrook's hands and he takes off running, I thought there is 0 chance in hell that ball is going anywhere other than Westbrook launching an ill-advised 3.
There's a viral video going around of like the Celtics, I think local TV broadcast that does a pre and post game show, them watching this play, and when the ball gets into Westbrook's hands, they're all like, "Oh no!" because they think he's gonna jack it up, and then he passes it. And they're
Isn't
like,
that universal?
Yeah, because you don't need a 3. They're only down by 1, and I'm like, dude, here comes the 30-foot leaning 3
or a turnover,
and then he swung it to Gordon. You're like, son of a gun.
And how about an Aaron Gordon appreciation moment?
Yes,
that dude in a league where players of his caliber don't want to take a back seat, he has gladly taken a back seat, and he's even talked about that. And he's got the first ever playoff game-winning buzzer beater dunk.
Yeah,
and it's another one.
Yeah,
dude, that guy's good, man.
Yeah,
and he doesn't need. That's a guy I want on my team.
And his
right there.
his teammates like Jokic, like they credit him as being like the glue.
Yes.
He's like the man in that locker room.
Aaron Gordon is one of the more underrated players in the NBA, if not the most.
Yeah. The only problem is that you basically have like 7 players on your team.
They have no depth.
And I get Westbrook's on a heater right now. You look at what Oklahoma City's running, and then you look at Denver. I just am beyond confident that last night was a fluke. And yes, Denver made the plays, but Oklahoma City gave that game away. They're not giving that game away again. I think it's a fun story. And Jokic, he continues to he is rewriting the narrative of big men. And we do this all the time where we try to put people in the middle of their career and into historical context. But I just, like, in my lifetime, I don't know if I'm starting a team, how many bigs I'm taking before I take Jokic. I mean, Shaq in his prime was just unstoppable. But what Jokic can bring to the table is so much
Oh, isn't it just a different style?
And it's a different style.
It's a
and
different game.
And in today, maybe if you put Jokic back then, maybe it's different. You could say, does Jokic guard Shaq? But
well, nobody could shoot like him, right?
No.
Like, except for, unless you go with like the Dirks of
Yes.
the world.
So, I mean,
but if you're talking traditional bigs like Hakeem or
well, Hakeem is a
Kareem.
is a good comparison, because if Hakeem had evolved in today's game,
yeah, he'd be like that.
I think you that's probably the best comparison to him.
But he was a bad man.
He was, and he had the dream shake, and was a fluid guy. They just didn't ask centers to step out and do that. But dude, he's a 7-foot guy that runs their offense. He's the best passer on the team.
I think he's their coach too.
It looks like it when they're on the sidelines. By the way, I'm telling you, he's gonna murder someone.
Oh, he's fired up.
Yeah,
I kind of like him.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
like
dude,
him.
I'm all aboard the Jokic train.
I saw a video, like a cop captioned that video last night saying Jokic telling his teammate how they're going to beat 100 gorillas because he's just he's like shouting, he's pointing.
Yeah. Well, I
going
mean,
nuts.
they turfed the coach.
Yeah.
And here they are,
Yep.
and he's showing, and they talked about it on the broadcast, but he's showing leadership that maybe wasn't there before. They had some problems before, and now maybe it's all freed up, and they're, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Again. Oklahoma City.
We're clipping the audio, but
Yeah, Oklahoma City in 6.
I will say this: Oklahoma City, when they're cooking,
yes,
like they were in a few moments in that game.
Yep.
Oh,
Well, it's like every time Denver, like they were down by 14, and then Denver would cut it to like 7, and you're like, oh, and Oklahoma City would come up with a big steal. Lou Dort had a great one where Jokic tried to your Lou Dort.
thank you, my guy.
Dude, they're just snatching balls like out of nowhere, and then they're running the break, and someone knocks down a 3, and I just love watching Oklahoma City play.
They're fun,
and that will over the course of a series, they are going to wear down the Denver Nuggets.
Well, we'll see. If Golden State wins tonight, that will be the first time ever all 4 road teams have won game 1 in a round.
Huh.
If Golden State wins tonight.
Well, that could be fun.
How about that?
Yeah.
So,
I
go
am-
Warriors.
If I'm pulling for one team, if I could sprinkle some fairy dust and make someone win, like a title, it would be fun to watch Steph get one more. It would be fun to watch Golden State and this, because that would be 5 titles and 3 distinct versions of championships for Steph Curry, because he won before KD.
Wouldn't hate it.
And then he had the KD run there, and then to see them.
And this is the thinnest roster he's had too, and the
hands
lowest seeded
down,
they've been.
the thinnest roster. And you bring in Jimmy and Buddy Hield, and they find a way to get this one. They won't, but it would be beyond incredible.
I wouldn't hate it. Those of us that are impartial and don't really care, just looking for a rooting interest over the course of the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I am one of those. I can tell you one guy has grabbed me that I didn't anticipate.
Yeah.
One. And.
Yeah. He's fun.
Dude, that guy is so fun.
Yeah.
And not only fun, he's funny.
Yeah, he's just talking.
Yes.
Bring gas.
I love what he's bringing to the table. If only they didn't have Rudy Gobert.
Yeah. I love
see y'all for game 7.
He was telling one of the fans, because he shot like 0 for 11, and they're like, you went 0 for 11. He goes, yeah, your ass is still going to lose. Better beat traffic. He is.
Well, he also said his D was bigger than theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got fined.
Got fined for that one.
35K or 50
He is
grand.
He's caught me. This Warriors Minnesota thing, it's going to be fun
And
to
they've
sit
got
down.
the bad blood from earlier in the year too.
Yeah.
It's going to
The
be fun.
Draymond
Yeah, the
headlock.
Draymond headlock on Rudy Gobert. Yeah, it would be nice if Rudy Gobert wasn't in Minnesota.
Yeah, because I don't like rooting for
No,
him. But
no.
I don't know, Ant. I don't know where my rooting interest will go when that series starts, but it will shift. I'm just going to go with it.
One of the great parts about being a free agent, and
Yeah.
I'm a free agent in the NBA and I'm a free agent in the NFL. It's fun just to watch a series or watch a playoff and naturally find yourself gravitating towards
And you
something.
do.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you I will probably gravitate back towards Steph because I always do. I love him. But
I get it.
Ant's, that's going to be good.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
God, you know what we got right now in the playoffs?
Good
We
little matchups.
We got good little matchups.
Good
little
matchups.
series right
Good
now.
little playoffs.
Yeah.
All right. Rest in peace, Justin Tucker. That's next on The Fan. Hey, what's up? It's Rob sticking around for the Window Nation. Yes, I'm your window daddy. And the reason they call me that is because I know a thing or two about windows. Actually, I don't. But I do know that Window Nation knows what they're doing, and that's all you need to know. It is time for a change that's both sustainable and beautiful. The beautiful part, when you upgrade your windows in your home, it makes it look so nice and new and fresh, but also sustainable. Window Nation offers energy-efficient windows made with eco-conscious materials and styles that are crafted just for our homes here in Portland. They are made especially for Portland homes with Millgard. They build top quality windows to their high standards with that partnership for our climate. So in Portland, we're very mindful of what we bring into our homes and the local businesses that we're supporting in the process. Window Nation is where you want to go for your windows should you need them in your home, because right now the semi-annual sale is offering 60% off and a free entry door when you buy a house full of windows. Think about that. 60% off and a free entry door. Those can be costly. They're going to give you one if you buy a house full of windows, and you can get 0 down, 0 interest, and no payments for 2 years, which means you'll pay nothing until 2027. So book your free eco quote today at 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com.
There's a Cavaliers role player with a really nice prop tonight. I'm Sammy Pete, here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM network. Max Strus had 7 points for Cleveland in Game 1, but the opportunity and the minutes were both there against the Pacers. Let's buy low on that prop. 10.5, that's the over-under for points.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by Reynolds Defense Firm. If you've been arrested for DUI, you need a team of attorneys that you can put your trust into. Call Reynolds Defense Firm today online at reynoldsdefensefirm.com. First on The Fan. Pair of playoff games on the hardwood tonight as the Cavaliers try to salvage a home split after dropping Game 1 to the Pacers, but they will be shorthanded tonight. Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and DeAndre Hunter all out for Cleveland. It's a 4 o'clock tip-off. We're just moments away over on TNT. The Cavs are still favored by 7. In the late game, it's Game 1 between the Warriors and Timberwolves in Minnesota. That one's set to tip around 6:30 on TNT. The Wolves are favored by 6.5. 2 playoff games tonight on the ice as well. In the Eastern Conference, they're about to drop the puck. for Game 1 between the Hurricanes and Capitals in D.C. That one's over on ESPN, and at 6:30 on ESPN, Game 1 between the Oilers and Golden Knights in Las Vegas. On the Diamond, the M's are in Sacramento again tonight, taking on the Athletics. Emerson Hancock on the hill for Seattle. Jeffrey Springs gets the ball for the A's. First pitch at 7:05. And Kentucky Derby winner Sovereignty will not run in next month's Preakness Stakes. There will be no Triple Crown this season. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The Fan Merch Locker has a new black 1080 The Fan hoodie, as well as classic long and short sleeve tees. Get yours now at 1080thefan.com.
If you can find the time to explore the mind of a stripper, then you can find the time to spend with your actual family.
Primetime with Isaac and Suk.
Damn! What they on? All steroids and no carbs? Them some thick-ass kids.
This is Primetime.
We're not like you. We're grown-ups.
Your source for the best in local, regional, and national sports.
Oh, my goodness!
Here are Isaac Ropp and Jason Sakanik with Primetime on 1080 The Fan.
Yes, that's right. Here we are.
Yes.
And this is Primetime. And this is 1080 The Fan.
Look at us.
Look at us.
What an exciting time.
Go Owls.
The Ravens cut Justin Tucker yesterday.
Finally.
Or maybe it was today. I can't remember.
I think it was yesterday I saw this.
Yeah, well, they drafted a kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
An effing kicker.
and then
the
they
first
tried
team to draft a kicker, too.
And then they tried to say that it'll play out in camp, and it was a football-only decision, and then they finally let him go.
Nice job, you kicker!
Is this anything more than him being old and unreliable? Or do you think it does have something to do with...
Yeah, the fact that he's facing Deshaun Watson-like charges, and the Ravens don't
Well, I
necessarily
just
have a
mean-
great track record.
I just mean that, I mean, he's
not good anymore.
Well, okay, there's two different things. That's what I'm saying. Like, they can easily say it's a football decision because it kind of is.
Yeah.
If Justin Tucker were still the old Justin Tucker, he would not be getting cut.
Probably
I
not.
don't think.
No,
Maybe,
but
I don't think so.
My guess is if...
This is about him being old and unreliable. He's 35 years old. He costs $4 million a year.
Yeah.
He's not what he used to be.
No,
the
but-
rookie won't cost them much at all. And by the way, he's accused of misconduct by what?
He might get suspended by the league.
and this is why
15. Is it 15
it's
or
a
16
lot.
women, I think?
It's a lot. The point of this is what you just brought up. He wasn't going to be their kicker, and I think the NFL was waiting to see if the Ravens were going to cut him before they suspended him. Look, this is the NFL. Like, it just gone. Like, can we just have this go away? Cut him. It's out of it, because if he were to go into camp as the kicker, it would be really problematic, because Deshaun Watson was put on the exempt list and was not allowed to play when he was going through this. And Justin Tucker has the same allegations, maybe not quite as many, but it's not that much less than what Deshaun Watson is.
Yeah,
the
it's 16.
16.
Massage therapist.
And Watson was like 20 something,
No,
25.
I thought he was over 30.
Look,
almost double.
Yeah, he was like 34.
bottom line is, once you get past 3 or 4, it's problematic. So he was not going to play, and he
What's
will.
wrong with 1 or 2?
Well, 1 or 2, at least with 1 or 2, you can do the, my story versus theirs, and it's a witch hunt or whatever. Then you get into the teens, for God's sakes. You're like, yeah, chances are.
So people believe your lies more when it's only 1 or 2?
Yeah, it's easier to deny 1 or 2 than it is when you've become of legal age with accusers. When your accusers collectively as a number can vote, yeah, that's problematic. So,
So should we congratulate the Browns now on signing Justin Tucker?
No one will sign Justin Tucker. This is the end of him. He will never play again. And to your point, some of that is, and a lot of it is, that he's just not very good anymore.
I think it's a big part of it.
It's a huge part of it. But he will be, if someone tries to sign him and they won't, everyone knows that the moment you sign him, you're going to take the heat, and the NFL is going to suspend him until all this plays out. So my guess is Justin Tucker quietly goes away. He settles these lawsuits, and this is the last time we see Justin Tucker kick. The real question becomes, when it comes time for Justin Tucker's Hall of Fame, and he is a Hall of Famer, he's arguably the greatest kicker of all time, how do we, what do we do with that?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I hadn't thought about that.
He's the most accurate kicker of all time.
Is he the most accurate of all time?
All time.
Yes.
Who's number 2?
I don't know.
Is it Butker?
It could be Butker.
I mean, the kickers today are so much better than they used to be, because there's only, I want to say there's like 2 or 3 kickers.
Yeah, I looked at
in the Hall of Fame.
I looked at. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Butker is number 2, 88.6%. Tucker's 89.1%. And then Eddie Pinheiro, third, followed by Chris Boswell.
Wait. Who's Eddie Pinheiro?
I think he kicked for the Bears. Kicks for the Bears?
Currently?
Yeah, actually, he's the Panthers. He's been a journeyman kicker. Raiders 2018, Bears 2019 and 2020, Jets 2021, Panthers 2022, 23, and 24. Still kicking,
No
88%.
kidding. He's that accurate, huh?
Well, and kickers have gotten so much better. There's 5 kickers in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Yeah, how many? Or, I mean, who are they?
Morton Anderson.
Yeah.
I knew Morton Anderson and Stenerud, the only
Stenerud.
2 that I knew.
Is Stenerud the one who kicked with the club?
No. That was and he
that?
wasn't a great kicker. That was
But that was the guy who had the longest
yeah,
record
it was
for the long
I think his
time.
last name was Dempsey.
Tom Dempsey, was that it?
Something like that. And yeah, he wasn't a great kicker. He just had the record for a while with the little stubby. And then Lou Groza, which is what the college trophy is named after. George Blanda, and then I don't remember this, but Vinatieri got in.
Oh.
But Justin Tucker is a Hall of Famer. Again, arguably the greatest kicker of all time.
If you were to say who is the greatest kicker of all time, I would say Justin Tucker.
Because
I think he is.
I didn't really watch the olden day guys
Yeah.
as much, Like, I'm sure Stenerud was great.
Yep.
But my God, Justin Tucker was auto.
Yes.
Well, he's the most accurate, and
Clutch.
he owns the longest one ever. So, like...
What's the longest one ever?
Didn't he hit 70 last year or 2 years ago?
What? Did he really?
He went to win it off the crossbar against
God.
Detroit, I think. It was like a walk-off.
Well, his numbers dipped, so I was trying to remember. I was like
66 yards, Justin Tucker in 2021.
And that's the longest ever? I thought
Yes.
Elam had the longest ever.
Nope. I think he did at one point. Matt Prater had the record at 64.
Those Denver kickers kept getting it at elevation.
Yeah, we've had some Brendan Aubrey for the Cowboys had a 65-yarder. So, yeah, but Tucker, he's the most accurate kicker of all time. He's got Super Bowls, longest field goal. He is a Hall of Famer, but if you're Justin Tucker, I honestly think that your best move is to you got cut, shut up, quietly go away, wait 5 or 6 years, and literally don't say anything, and just hopefully for him it kind of time just kind of goes away, and then all of a sudden the jacket comes on, and you're like, what happened there? He will not get another shot. He's done.
So I was looking at him because I remember him from last year really being awful.
It was bad.
And then I remember him this is just in my head revisionist. You know how we do with sports. Totally misremembering everything probably, but I remember him getting it together and them sticking with him for the playoffs, and it actually was fine. It ended up, that wasn't the story.
Well,
the
and
story
he was really bad from long range last year. I know that.
Yeah, career average, like we said, is 89.1. Last year, he was 73.3.
Right. So he dipped from the upper 80s and lower 90s to 73%. He's also made only 7 of his last 16 from 50 plus.
Yeah.
But I do remember him last year kind of getting it right towards the end because the Ravens going into the playoffs.
Yeah,
the only reason I know this is because I had a futures ticket on the Ravens to win the damn Super Bowl.
Yeah, there was talk of.
And dude, he was the thing I was worried about.
Yeah.
He only had 2 kicks, and he made both of them. One was from 47.
And so it ended up being the Mark Andrews thing and the Lamar turnover. So it didn't really come back to bite him. But yeah, he is not the same guy. And that's a huge reason. And he's old.
Yeah.
And he's costly.
Yeah.
So it's like, we'll just
But
draft a kicker and get your ass
It
out of
is
here.
interesting to how we handled the Deshaun Watson thing versus Justin Tucker. It's true. I mean, they're both accused of the same thing, and one of them got treated completely different. And if you want to talk about quarterback versus kicker, you want to talk black versus white, you want to talk about
thank you.
Justin Tucker was like a pillar of the community. But I would also bring up that before the Deshaun Watson thing, Deshaun Watson had a stellar reputation. And it sounds like the Justin Tucker thing that people knew about. Remember, it was like 2 or 3 years someone had tweeted like this was a thing. People knew about this, but people knew about Deshaun Watson too.
Well,
so it just goes to show you that when you're a good player, people keep stuff quiet.
Yeah. And but I mean, Deshaun got $230 million.
Yes.
So, I mean, Tucker's not going to get he's not going to get another deal. Now, of course, they're at different ages. But come on, this is my point about Tucker. If Tucker's in the prime of his career, he's getting
playing.
another contract
Yes.
because guess who else got another contract? Deshaun Watson.
The
and it was fully guaranteed.
The largest contract in NFL history.
So, I mean,
Yes. So, but he couldn't play in Houston again. Well, I mean, he didn't want to, but I don't know if he would still be in Baltimore, but someone would have.
Someone would have grabbed him, yeah.
Well, look, we've yet to find the thing that prevents you from playing in the NFL. We really have.
Who's the worst?
Well, you know what? It's about to happen. I think next year, you know who gets released.
Oh, Ruggs.
Henry Ruggs.
I saw that.
And I think he'll be like 25 or 26.
But could I defend Ruggs and say he served his time? I mean, he did.
Well, I'm saying we have yet to
Greg
find.
Hardy was a bad one.
Yeah, and he got
another deal.
He got another deal.
That was a bad one.
Yeah, his was bad, but he didn't kill someone.
Who? Yeah, but he also didn't serve time, did he? Hardy.
No, she mysteriously vanished and wouldn't testify.
See, when you go to prison, like Mike Vick went to prison.
Mike Vick went to prison.
Same with Ruggs, yeah.
And Ruggs is the same way. That changes things for people.
Sure.
It's like, hey, you went through the system, you screwed up. Of course, maybe you should get a second chance.
Angel Cabrera.
Yeah, exactly. But when you don't serve your crime, serve time. I think that changes things for people.
It is going to be awkward. Henry Ruggs got drunk and barbecued a woman and her dog alive. She burned to death. And
it was a car accident.
Car accident.
For those that don't know.
He
didn't just light someone on fire.
No, he got rip house drunk.
And he was going like 114 and through Vegas or something like that?
Yeah, on a side street.
Yeah.
Plowed into someone.
So how many years is he going to serve?
I think 5 or 6. And then he's going to get out. They said next year, probably he gets released. And I'll tell you what.
He only got 3 years.
It's just 3 years?
Yeah.
You think he'll still be fast?
Minimum of 3 years.
Minimum of 3.
Maximum of 10.
So it is going to be.
Oh, yeah. He got between 3 and 10.
3 and 10. And so he's eligible for parole. So, but that doesn't mean he's going to get parole.
Right.
But most people think that he's going to because he's, he hasn't caused any problems in there. And it is going to be really interesting to see. It will be split. Shocking. You want to guess where those lines are split between who wants Henry Ruggs to play and who doesn't want him to play? I got a real idea that race is going to play a big one in this, and it's going to be an uncomfortable moment when a team, Dallas Cowboys, sign Henry Ruggs, and he will be a murderer. Well,
he wouldn't be the first.
No,
but I would also say that
Leonard Little killed the lady, and
he came back. Exactly. So when for me, that's not a hard one because look, I'm no judge.
Yep.
Okay. I'm not as far as, well, actually I am a judge. I'm the Honorable I. Everett.
You are.
And I do have a courtroom here, but we haven't used that in a while. So
Yeah.
I'm not a, an everyday judge.
Yep.
And look, I just think if you do what he did and you serve your time, when you're on the backside of that, some people may disagree with this. I don't care. I think he should have every if he can play in the NFL, I think he should be allowed to play in the NFL.
Yeah.
What do you want him to do? Have a lifetime or a lifetime ban because of that?
Well, I'm different because how do I parse this out? I'm with you in the sense of you served your time, you're out, you are free to do whatever you want to do. Two things. I understand why people do not want someone to go on and make millions of dollars, and they don't feel that there's any sort of justice in that. My problem, and I've said this time and time again, it really bothers me, the light sentences that people get. You got drunk, you drove, by the way, it was 156 miles an hour in a Corvette down a side street, and you cooked a woman alive. It bothers me immensely. And I get this is two separate things. It bothers me immensely that his punishment could be 5 years or 4 years or whatever. And that's a system thing. So while I agree with you that you serve your time and you have the ability to come out, I cannot believe that, especially with that crime, we have this idea of, well, it was a mistake and here's a couple years and you go about living your life. Meanwhile, for that poor girl's family, she doesn't get to live her life. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see him behind bars for a long time. I do not like the light sentences that we give for murder, but that's a whole different animal. And he is going to play. And by the way, I just saw this. This was from 2 days ago. Teammates saying that he is indeed training in prison right now.
Oh, yeah.
And he is planning an NFL comeback.
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't you?
Yep.
I mean, he was young, right?
Yeah.
How old is he? 24, maybe?
I think he'll be 25 or 26 when he gets out.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs, who played at Alabama with him, was in Vegas with him. He was on the Pivot podcast, and he said that he He says he has repented for his crimes, and he mentioned the wide receiver has not given up on his dreams, and he spends his free time training and remains disciplined, and he's planning an NFL comeback.
Jacobs also said he was supposed to go out with him that night and chose to stay in, and he was like, I might have been riding with him.
Yeah.
What if he kneels for the national anthem?
Yeah. That would be problematic.
Never playing this damn league again.
Like someone bringing up Ray Cruz. Ray Cruz went to prison for the rest of his life.
He's still in prison.
Contract.
Yeah, he'll never get out.
Isn't he in prison?
Yes.
Yeah.
For reference, he tried
So
to
again,
kill his pregnant girlfriend.
This is where I come. Yeah, exactly.
Or Ray Cruz
and she did not die, by the way. I don't think.
No, she died.
She died,
did?
but
The baby did
the
not.
kid lived.
Oh, the
The
kid
kid
lived. Yeah. It was like in her
'Cause
car.
it was like she was like 8 months pregnant.
Yeah. So
But-
the kid's all the kid
Yeah,
is
he's developmentally
he's
disabled.
yeah he's
Yeah. This is where I go with just I'm not a judge, man. I don't know what goes into these decisions of giving 3 or 4 years versus life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Yeah.
That's not my expertise.
And
So
Cruz, I'm gonna look up. Cruz may have gotten out, but when he got out, he was so like he got like 20,
he's out.
I think he might be out, but he
Really?
got like 20 years.
Which seems a little more appropriate.
Yeah, he got a long prison sentence. So I'm
Should've got
looking
life.
up to see if he has been. Yeah, he got released in 2028, but he had served 18 years. So
Okay.
obviously that was no.
He's back in the world.
Yeah, there was no comeback there. And remember too, Caruth meant to do it. He set up a hit on
Yeah.
his girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's again,
that's a different. There's
these
a
are all
difference.
factors.
All factors.
All right.
And yes, someone said, doesn't Ruggs have to be reinstated by the NFL? Absolutely.
And he may not be.
He
I
may
don't
not
know.
be. We don't know. But it will be just
They
buckle,
probably won't get away with that PA wise though.
just buckle up, because when he gets out, he will be young enough and be talented enough. There will be First Take and all those other shows and this will be
Well, this is why I don't watch those shows.
Yeah, this will be a hot button topic for the NFL and a PR nightmare. But so if you ask me to take a bet, I think someone
Yeah, he'll play.
I think someone will take a chance on him.
He'll play, and I honestly don't even think it's going to be that controversial because, again,
Oh, it'll be controversial.
I think to a lot of people, well, they'll try to make it that,
Yeah.
but I just think to a lot of people, he served his time.
Yeah.
It's the same as Mike Vick. Mike Vick coming back
Yeah.
for that second deal was not nearly as controversial as when he actually committed those acts.
Yeah.
It's just two different, because people just are like, okay, well, you went through the system. That's what they gave you. You did your time, and now we move on.
I think one group of people is going to think that way, and I think there's going to be a whole other group of people, and they're going to be very, very loud about it.
Up next, Michigan's head football coach is about to be suspended again.
It's become a seasonal thing for these guys.
What is up with these guys? On the Fan.
The home of Dirt and Spray.
I'm Dirt.
Well, it's happened again, guys. The Michigan head coach will be suspended for 2 games of his choice next season.
You got a good idea which ones he's going to choose.
Well, he's already chosen them.
Oh.
Yeah, they've already chosen him for him.
What do we got?
Well, he will miss week 3 and week 4 against Central Michigan and Nebraska, which allows him to coach against New Mexico and Oklahoma. And, of course, this is Sharon Moore, by the way, the Michigan coach.
I'm surprised they didn't do the New Mexico game.
Well, Oklahoma is where he played.
Oh.
So they want him to be able to coach against Oklahoma. And, yeah, New Mexico, I don't know.
Maybe they just thought they didn't want to do 1, then 3. Because if you...
Right. You want 2 consecutive, yeah. Because, your interim coach, he's got a lot of work to do. So anyway, this is pertaining to him deleting all of his text messages.
Yeah, with Connor
Stallions, the sign-stealing guy.
So, I mean, just go away, Michigan. This is so dumb. We all know what happened. They won a national title. I saw that. Does this change the way you feel about Michigan and their national title? No, they won the national championship. Let it go. Jim Harbaugh moved on. Oh, God, you're suspending him for Central Michigan and Nebraska.
He got 3 games, Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Lock, cocked, ready to rock.
So, and they went 2-0.
Yeah. Yeah, Moore. Was the interim coach, and remember they beat someone and they were crying. And remember Moore was making it sound like Jim Harbaugh died.
That's right. What? I'm gonna go.
I don't remember what games those were, but I don't think it was against someone big and important. But I remember after the game, Moore was literally in tears.
Well, wasn't Harbaugh suspended twice though?
Was he suspended twice?
I think he was suspended twice. Let's see. That was 2023.
I just remember he served the 3-game suspension. I remember that.
Yeah, no, it was later in the year. It was
it was later.
It might have been the Ohio State game.
It was after his first win.
Was it?
Let me see.
Yeah, who was Moore's first? Who was the first win against when he started crying?
Penn State. Penn State.
Okay, so that's better than that's better than I would have thought.
24-15 over Penn State.
But that was November 11th.
Yeah, it got suspended later because they drug that thing out, and then it was in the middle of the year where
was that when Harbaugh was just refusing to talk to investigators and stuff?
This goes back to my point. He got suspended twice. I think he missed the first 3 games.
I just remember that Harbaugh agreed and they agreed to drop, we're not going to fight it, stop the investigation, take the 3-game suspension and move on. I do remember that. And Moore was the interim coach and they made it act like, that it was the end all to be all. And maybe did Harbaugh miss the Ohio State game because it was towards the end of the year.
Yeah, I don't think it was Ohio State. It was Penn State, but that was November 11th, and I don't understand why he was... I thought it was the first 3 games, but maybe not.
No. Well, either way. Bottom line is this. Michigan cheated. Everyone knows they cheated. Everyone knows they covered it up, and they still won the national championship, and they won it in dominating fashion. So, they beat Alabama. They whooped Washington's ass, and, they cheated. And Connor Stallions... everyone knew about it. Moore knew about it. Jim Harbaugh knew about it. They all attempted to cover it up. And
it was later. So he missed Penn State, Maryland, and Ohio State.
Okay, so he did miss
2 different suspensions. 6 games in total. 1, he missed the first 3 games of the season. That was self-imposed. And the other, he missed the last 3 games of the season.
Oh, okay. There was 2 suspensions.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because someone said I think that he missed time for the recruiting thing as well.
That was the first one, and then the sign-stealing stuff came about mid-season, and they did it the last 3 games of the season.
And it was a big deal that they were going to play Ohio State without him.
Yeah.
And they beat him anyway.
And they beat him anyways. So, and then they cried, and then they made it seem like,
hey,
someone had done something to them when they had done it to themselves.
That guy parlayed that into a nice little career for himself.
Absolutely.
Sharon Moore.
But I do love when the consequences of your own actions, rear their ugly head, and then you make it seem like you overcame, insurmountable odds. And,
the world was against you.
The world was, no one believed in you. And the world,
hole.
Well, no, dude, you cheated and you got caught and you got punished for it.
And you deleted a few text messages.
Yeah, no big deal. Yeah, he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I knew nothing about it. Why did you delete it?
It was the same day.
Why did you delete all your messages? Who's to say?
Did you delete all your texts from everybody else? Well, no.
Don't worry about that.
Dude, it was the same day. All the Connor Stallions stuff comes out, and they said that on his phone, he just deleted the whole thread, 52 messages that day. Hey, why'd you delete them that day? I just was happened to be going through my phone.
Who doesn't do that from time to time?
We think.
So stupid. All right, in the news is coming up next. There is a viral video from Oregon out on Highway 26 that even the national news is talking about. Have you seen this? You clearly have not.
I don't think I have.
That is next. Here's Buck. It is May 6th. May the 6th be with you. See what I did there?
I see what you did there.
2025, time for In the News. I'm your newsman. Hello, thank you.
Bro.
Thank you, bros and broettes. Beautiful day out there. Hey, stay cool.
76.
It's hot. Oh, it's 85.
It's 85?
Yeah.
Oh, God. When I was coming in today, it was 76.
Dude.
85?
Dude.
Oh, God!
It's hot as hell.
I got 79 right now on the old phone. Nice.
Let's see what mine says here.
Well, I'm guessing it says 79.
82.
Oh.
See that?
Look at our phones having conflicting...
Fake news. Who do you think has more fake news, me or you, on my phone?
I don't know.
I think you.
I think my phone's newer than yours.
Insurrectionist.
So wouldn't it be my phone being the more accurate one?
Although I did get the Trump, was it the, well, I'm actually getting ads now. Have you noticed this on Twitter?
Yeah.
You're getting ads that are all pro-Trump.
Well, you know who owns that.
Well, I know.
I wonder why that's happening.
Yeah, are you getting that
Oh,
too?
yeah, all the time. And it's always weird because when you
I love Tesla.
I mean, they're not even being shy about it
No,
now.
you
They're
have
just
the
like force-feeding you this.
Well, you have the feed that you follow, and then on the other side, it's for you. You know,
right?
I'll tell you what. I don't
the
know.
for you is not for me.
No, it
a
is
whole
not.
lot less for you than it used to
Yeah,
be.
Whatever that algorithm that they're using
it's
for
not
me,
an algorithm. It's propaganda.
I promise you, that is not. That is the least for me.
Everything's computer.
Like every now and then, like when you go to Spotify and you do the DJ, I'm often like, why on earth are you picking this for me? I feel
insane.
that way about my for me feed on Twitter.
Yeah. And yet I just can't quit it. It's too big part of our show prep.
I just can't quit you.
Well, it's just such a good news feed.
Well, I did see the motorcycle wreck on Twitter, and I didn't realize that was in Portland.
Yeah. We'll get to that in a moment. In the News is brought to you here by the Advocates, injury attorneys at advocateslaw.com. I have to tell you, it is National Beverage Day, and I'm very excited about this topic.
I do love beverages.
Well, who doesn't? I mean, beverages are delightful. I think sometimes we take them for granted.
You know who doesn't, and it bothers me? My daughter.
What do you mean?
All
How
she
could
drinks is water. That's it.
Like no booze or anything?
No. All she drinks is water.
Is she a
I don't
sociopath?
know. I don't know.
It goes drip, drip.
Doesn't drink
What is that
soda,
about?
doesn't drink juice.
Like at all.
Water.
Ever.
Ever. Water.
Dude.
Sparkling or flat only?
Mostly flat. Just drinks water. No matter where we go. Go to
Is
a
this
restaurant.
Oren or Taylor?
Oren.
Oh my.
Taylor's a lush. Yeah, Oren just drinks water.
Oh my God.
It's the weirdest damn thing, dude.
I don't love that.
It's weird.
And I love her. She's wonderful.
Yes, she's the best. But we're on a beach somewhere.
This is the first red flag I've ever heard about her.
We're on a beach somewhere tropical. Everyone is like, we're ordering, you got coladas, you got Mai Tais, there's
son
lava
is an
flows
idiot.
going. Maybe you're getting some wine out, and she just is like, water. I'm like, you want like a Pepsi or a Coke? Water.
Girl, you something else.
Straight water, man.
Can you name the most popular beverage brand in the United States?
Coca-Cola, I'm assuming.
Nope. Not even close.
Budweiser? Well, it's not beer, right?
This is no. These are all. No, again. Only so many people drink. So
Sure.
the most popular beverages. This is Q1 of 2025. So this is current.
Yeah.
This isn't like all time.
I would have thought it would be Coca-Cola.
Coke is number. Coke's on here.
Everyone loves
16.
Coke. 16?
Yes. Pepsi is 14.
You're telling me Pepsi's more popular than Coca-Cola?
This is by sales Q1
no way.
2025.
Your list is dumb.
United States of America.
There's no way Pepsi is more than
Liquid death.
Yeah. There you go. And we talking like, does like orange juice count? I don't know.
Ooh.
Milk.
Ooh.
Milk? Juice?
Ooh.
What? Ooh, what?
You said orange juice.
Yeah, orange juice.
Tropicana. Is the
Okay.
number one selling beverage brand in the United States of America, Q1 2025.
Love our
How about
sugar.
that? Welch's is number 2, which is...
I do love the people that are like,
Ugh.
I don't want to drink soda because of the sugar, and then they drink orange juice.
And Sprite is number 3.
Sprite is refreshing.
Yeah, Sprite's great.
Sprite's great.
Like good Sprite.
But one of the great things is when you go to a movie theater, they have the at like the AMC theaters, they have the mixes, so you can do the Sprite base, and then you can throw in all the other flavors, and it is delightful. Like the holidays, they do a cranberry Sprite. Oh, get out of here. The peach Sprite, even better.
I want you to power rank the following beverages.
Go.
Orange juice, lemonade, iced tea, soda, and I'm going to put in an energy drink.
Okay. I'm combining lemonade and iced tea into one because I drink Arnold Palmer's, and it's the nectar of the gods. So that's one.
But what if you had to do them separate?
Lemonade, then iced tea. But combined,
1-2?
1-2.
So they're already 1-2, and then combined, they're 1-1?
Yeah. I mean, because you can do all different flavors of iced tea, and it's delightful. But when you add it with a lemonade, Wonder Twin powers activate. That's going number one. What else did you have on? You had juice.
OJ.
OJ? Nah.
Soda. Energy drink.
Soda
Soda could be Dr. Pepper, Sprite, whatever.
Yeah. I'm going energy drink, soda, and then the last is juice.
What about milk? Does milk make your list?
No, milk is ridiculous. Milk is for babies.
It is kind of absurd.
Get out of here.
A lot of milk.
The only time milk is remotely good is if I've got a cookie.
Remember they used to tell us how great milk was
terrible
for our bones?
Yes. No, I'm not going to give you no cookie. I'm bad because
Our
I have
osteo future.
I have a horrid caffeine addiction, so I drink more energy drinks. I try to avoid soda. But a lovely like Coke Zero or like a Diet Dr. Pepper with a meal.
But you know,
it's great.
While we're on the top, before we get to this viral video thing, and it's very big news, but on the topic of beverages, what about like are we in a golden age of beverage?
Oh yeah.
Like
there's
you
so many
think
options.
about it's almost like sauces, you know.
Yes.
It used to be you'd have to have ketchup or mustard or maybe a little ranch. Like now there's just so many great aiolis and different spreads and sauces. It's the same with beverages. You think about all the like the frescas.
Yep.
Like my wife will continually show up with new stuff in the fridge
all the
that's
time.
Non-alcoholic.
Yes.
That is flavored. That is delicious.
We do a lot of the sparkling waters.
Yeah.
And from Spindrift and LaCroix and whatever.
Yes.
It is great because the BTJ does all the shopping, and I can't tell you how many times I open the fridge and I'm like, what have we got here? Although she brought home one the other day, and let me tell you, it's terrible.
What flavor?
Mint watermelon.
Ooh.
Awful. It was like a mojito thing. Terrible.
Yeah, I can't get behind that.
It was right out. But
I like mint, but you got to be careful with it.
It's bad. But yeah, dude, I'm with you. I open the fridge and there's just all kinds of
different kinds of drinks.
Yeah, and there's like the Olipop ones now that she gets some. Yeah, when you go to the store and you just look at the refrigerated beverage section, it's hard to choose.
It's a battle.
It's overwhelming.
It's a battle to get on those shelves.
Absolutely.
Well, this motorcyclist was seriously injured in a road rage hit-and-run incident that is making national news. It happened out on Highway 26. Police have arrested the suspected driver of the van that sideswiped the motorcyclist in what investigators believe was an intentional act. Of course it was.
Yeah, it was.
I love it when they say that.
Yeah,
well, we don't really know. We have to investigate. No,
you don't.
what happened was all you see on the video is, and it looks like it's from a dash cam.
No,
somebody,
they don't. Yeah,
somebody who was driving behind them.
Someone was following behind, had it on dash cam.
All you see is the motorcyclist up near the passenger side of the van flipping the driver of the van off.
Yes.
And then the guy has enough, and he just flips the van right into the driver.
Just plows him and keeps going.
Threw him 250 feet.
Yeah.
This is westbound Highway 26 between 217 and Cedar Hills, and it occurred 6:15 in the morning.
How can you be that angry at 6:15 in the morning?
Isn't that wild? Maybe he hadn't had his coffee.
I guess. And they said the motorcycle rider he was severely injured, but he has been released. He's home.
Yep.
He's going to survive, which is shocking. And dude, just first off, to the D-bag, they released his name, by the way. I mean, they arrested the guy.
Yeah.
Samir or something or other. Dude, it's the amount of anger and just that I can't comprehend that, but at the same time, you're on a motorcycle, don't flip people off. If you're in a car, don't flip people off. Like, I do this because I don't really ride motorcycles much anymore, but I ride my bike a lot, and you get cut off or whatever, and I understand that the urge is there to flip people off. You're on a motorcycle, you're on a bike, you aren't going to win that. What are you trying to accomplish with driving up and flipping someone off? Not saying you deserve that, but God, that doesn't end well for you in any way.
No, it doesn't, Jace.
No.
Never does. But, you know,
I
don't care what
you're damn lucky that he's alive.
I don't care what you're driving or riding. We all need to calm down out there because you just never know who. That guy's lucky he's not dead, one.
Yes.
Also, the guy could have easily pulled a gun on him.
Yeah.
And shot him and then killed him.
Yeah.
Like, dude, people are crazy out there.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that we lose sight of, and I tell this to my wife all the time because she gets a little visceral like this and gets mad. you never know who can't control their emotions.
No.
And the second someone gets like that driver knows that he shouldn't be ramming the motorcyclist.
Yep.
Why he's ramming the motorcyclist is he cannot control his emotion in that moment. He is so viscerally pissed off because the guy's flipping him off.
Yeah.
So if you hadn't flipped him off, he probably wouldn't have got so pissed off, and you'd probably be feeling a lot better than you are now, motorcyclist.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he deserved that. I'm with you.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
you can't do it.
You can't be doing that.
No.
You never know who's going to fly off the handle, man.
You pulled
it's
up
so dumb.
You pulled up alongside of him and you gave him the middle finger for like a good 5 or 6 seconds. You just I tell my kids that all the time. It's just not worth
Play
it.
stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah. And
I
now,
had one of those recently. I didn't see him back there. He was in my blind spot. He was a motorcyclist, and I cut him off. And he pulled up right on the. I was on the far left lane of I-5.
Yeah.
He pulls up right on the. What do you call it? Like the. He's not supposed to be.
The shoulder?
The shoulder?
Yeah, on the shoulder, and gets right up in my window doing the same stuff.
Yeah.
Yelling at me and like I don't remember if he flipped me off or whatever. I just stared him down.
Yeah.
With my mean mug. I have a mean mug.
Yeah.
I had a mean mug. Called him off the scent. But I'm gonna kick your ass, you little bitch. Dude, he's lucky I'm not insane.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people that cannot control their emotions in that moment.
punch it,
and dude,
bitch.
you got a problem.
See, you think you saw that Kia minivan and you thought that Kia minivan wouldn't do anything? Well, Kia minivan had enough of being Kia minivan guy, and he ran your ass over. By the way, one guy went to the hospital, is going to have serious injuries, and the other dude's about to go to prison for a while. Cool. Everyone's a loser here. Just both sides.
What is the record for 90-degree days in a summer? You ask. Nice question, Jace.
Here in Portland?
Well, yeah. Here.
Well,
this is in the news, dude.
I'm saying it could be in Arizona. That record could be different places.
That next on The Fan.
This is the Fan's Window into Sports, a view into today's top stories, brought to you by Window Nation, online at windownation.com.
You have to take a look at the process of what we're trying to accomplish, and we were able to accomplish good results for the most part. And like I said, there's probably 8 to 10 shots that we could be better at for sure.
That's Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, old Joe Mazzulla.
Said maybe 8 or 10 of those threes.
I do enjoy that. Like Boston will not. Boston's like, hey, this is what we do.
Well, they did just win a championship.
I know. So
they're probably going to make 40 of them next game.
They got a little street cred. In the third quarter, they attempted one field goal that wasn't a 3-pointer. By the way, one the entire third quarter.
Window Nation report brought to you by Window Nation. 60% off and a free entry door when you purchase a house of windows from Window Nation right now. Plus, pay nothing until 2027. You can get a free estimate at windownation.com or call 866-90-NATION.
The home of Dirt and Spray.
I'm Dirt. There is a local prospect who plays at Lake Oswego.
LaMarcus Bell. He's
Swag's a big
stud.
fan of Lake Oswego. He goes to all their games.
I've seen this kid. This kid is a stud.
Excuse me?
All right, this is in the news for May 6, 2025. Noted newsman here, although I'm turning this story over to the great Rod Hill, KGW meteorologist, who is saying that somebody asked on their website, hey, how many days of 90-degree weather are we going to get, Rod?
Why are they speaking like a 1970s newscaster?
Maybe they are a 1970s newscaster.
That'd be fun. Blowing up a whale.
Baby.
What's up, baby? What's up, Sugar Teas?
How many do you think he says?
In August, I'll go like, I don't know, like 12.
August. He said this summer.
Oh, this summer. The entire summer?
Yep. And, well, they say the hot season here is between May and September.
Okay.
Where it can get hot. Like, the earliest it's ever hit 90 was April 30th.
Okay. Then, if I said 12 for, like, the month of August, I'll go, like, I don't know, like 20, 22.
Yeah, he's saying between 22 and 31 days of 90-degree or hotter weather this year. He said there's a strong likelihood Portland will see 1 to 5 days of 100 degrees or above this summer. Somebody asked, what year was it so hot? It was like 115. That was 2021. And in that year, we had 24 days over 90 degrees.
It's a lot of days.
It is, but it's not like we've had more each of the last 3 years.
Yeah, it's not like overwhelming.
But Rod is one of those, people.
I'm just above
who believes that the climate is warming.
I was told it was not.
If you believe that sort of thing.
I was told to not believe the lunatic left scientists.
Those scientists better check their hypotenuses,
I don't know. I like the warm weather, and two,
I love it.
I just have accepted the fact that we're hot now in Portland.
Like the windmills are driving the whales crazy.
In the summer it gets hot.
We're the new Phoenix. I feel like we're the new Mojave, the rate this is going. Dude, we haven't had much rain for about a month now, have we?
I just know.
It's great.
I know
rain comes down from heaven.
In the summer, we get really hot, and then we burn everything down. That just has become.
That's right.
It's what happens in the summer.
wildfires. It's hard.
Yeah.
Own part emojis.
It's hard out there.
So it's gonna be a hot summer.
Well, I mean, he said 22 to 30. Like, honestly, I feel like that's kind of low. Days over 90,
Yeah.
22 to 31, that's not bad. Would you have thought it was more than that in this area?
I mean, I said like in the 20s, so I guess I was a little lower. So yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
If you told me we're getting 25 days in the 90s, my response would be like, cool. Cool. Get out and enjoy the sunshine. Again, I try not to complain about the heat because given the choice between it being butt-ass cold and rainy and 95, I'll take 95.
And that's cool. That's cool.
It's dry heat.
It's not a dry heat. It's actually quite humid.
Yeah, you got to go to Kansas, dude, or Florida. You lived in Florida.
Yes.
You know humidity.
Yes. Well, Southeast Asia. Never.
Yeah.
That's a whole other.
Whole other level of heat, or humidity.
Yes. Like that's a.
So in the grand scheme of things, it actually is a dry heat, but it's not as dry as Arizona.
No. And I'll tell you what, I really don't care because when it's 110, 115 in Arizona, it still sucks. It still sucks.
Well, there's a reason why everyone has pools.
Yes.
But you can tell a difference. I mean, it is definitely a different type of heat. The humidity is like.
Yeah. Well, it saps your will to live.
So yes, it is so awful.
There is something. Just when
especially no breeze at all.
No, and I don't know about you, but once the seal is broken and the sweat has the era has become the era of sweat. There is no stopping it. It will like rain like
the
down
era
from heaven.
Has become
just drip, 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 and then like for the rest of the day, it doesn't matter. Like your underwear is wet, you're just moist, and when it dries, you're salty. It's terrible. Florida was That was a tough place to live when in the summertime.
It goes drip, drip, drip. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular. These people are crazy. There's something wrong with them. Everything's computer.
There's just so many.
I love Tesla. I love cows. We'll execute the baby. You do it anymore, you're going to have problems.
I don't know which one's my favorite.
I have concepts of a plan. It's called rain. Comes down from heaven.
I think Tesla might be my...
Now watch this drive.
When you weren't here, that was our draft chime this year.
Yeah.
Every time a pick was in, we would hit the...
I love Tesla.
Tesla.
Everything's computer.
There's just so many good ones.
China.
You guys?
Is that it?
Well, I have more, but
We're probably out of time.
We're out of time.
We're out of time, but we don't have a hot five to get to.
Isn't that great?
It just gives you one more excuse to not be on the clock.
It's just so freeing.
Hey, I'm trying to be on the clock. I'm trying to be responsible.
No, you're not.
I am.
Make America great, bitch. We'll get to more in the news tomorrow. That is ITN for May 6, 2025, brought to you by the Advocates Injury Attorneys at advocateslaw.com. Coming up next, just how expensive will NIL be getting? On the Fan. Fakink.
Swag back with you for Forest Hills Golf Course out in Cornelius, my home course once again. I got to get my game back in shape after basketball season, and I was recently out there, saw Marcus. His crew has done unbelievable work over the winter, opening things up, making it more playable, more options on each hole. It is simply the best value on the west side. Multiple practice areas on the property, gorgeous views. Make your tee time now. GolfForestHills.com. Tell them Swag sent you.
It's Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I've got something important to talk to you about, your 401k. If you have changed jobs, there are two very important considerations. You don't want to leave your 401k behind, and you don't want to roll it over into your new company plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. 401ks will often have limited investments or age-based options. Since companies have to make choices to suit all employees, they may not be suited to you, which could cost you fees and money. When you roll over your 401k into an IRA, you not only keep your money growing tax deferred, but you also gain access to a world of investment options specifically designed for you. Trajan Wealth and our fiduciary advisors have helped thousands, and we can do the same for you. Call Trajan today at 503-207-6000. 503-207-6000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-265-7681. 800-265-7681. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-265-7681.
The home of Danny and Dusty, always live on the Odyssey app, is KFXX KWJJ HD2 Portland 1080 The Fan.
I'll just roll it out.
Not the river. An Odyssey sports station. Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this Sports Center update. First on The Fan, a couple games in the association tonight. The first one already underway. It's game 2 between the Cavaliers and Pacers. Cleveland up 55-43 despite being shorthanded with about 2.5 minutes to go in the first half. Coming up later tonight at 6:30 on TNT. It's game 1 between the Warriors and Timberwolves in Minnesota. The T-Wolves are favored by 6.5. Meanwhile, on the ice, one game already underway. The Hurricanes and Capitals scoreless in their first period. They're at the first intermission, about ready to drop the puck on the second period. And then coming up tonight at 6:30 on ESPN, it's game 1 between the Oilers and the Golden Knights in Las Vegas. The Mariners are back at it tonight as well. They take on the Athletics in Sacramento. First pitch at 7:05. Emerson Hancock is on the hill for Seattle. And Kentucky Derby winner Sovereignty will not run in next month's Preakness Stakes. There will be no Triple Crown winner in this season. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes of Ryan Buckley to George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
It's back. The 11th annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms Golf Club happens Tuesday, June 24th. Presented by your local Toyota dealers. Reserve your foursome now at 1080thefan.com.
Good afternoon. At the Tone, Pacific Daylight Time will be
It's 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock.
One step closer to my own personal hell.
This is Primetime on Sports Radio 1080 The Fan.
We expect the best. We're not afraid to break someone. Do you hear me?
Primetime is your source for the best in local, regional, and national sports.
Go ahead and clap. Mediocrity deserves applause.
Isaac Robb.
I'm miserable. I had to get up at 10 o'clock this morning.
Jason Sakanik.
I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Primetime on 1080 The Fan.
All right. Welcome back. Hope you're having a nice little Tuesday. It's your Sports Bros, Rob and Sook. I'm Rob. And Big Sook's right over there.
Right back at you.
He's back from Italy. Italian Sook.
Sober now.
Yeah.
No more booze.
He has quit drinking.
I'm off the sauce.
For life.
I'm going to push it to Friday. I'm going to make a goal. Saturday?
I bet you don't.
Thursday afternoon. Thursday evening. Hey, nothing on, nothing Monday, nothing so far today.
Yeah, doing great.
Right? It's a day and a half. What are you talking about? That's a long plane ride. It can't be expected to go, cold turkey on the airplane.
I love drinking on planes.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
Like, if you're trying to take a little nappy nap, I mean, come on.
No, just... I don't really care the circumstance. I love drinking on planes.
Yeah. And dare I say, this is the first time flying Turkish Airlines. You get a chance to fly Turkish Airlines, fly Turkish Airlines.
You told us that yesterday.
Yeah, they're dialed in.
Or maybe it was, is this your second day back?
Second day back. Did I tell you that, or was that off the air?
No, you told me on the air.
Yeah, they're great. And let me tell you,
on the air.
the wine was flowing. And no judgmental stares either. Hey, I got a 12-and-a-half-hour flight, and that
What
lady
do they
knew.
have on a Turkish airliner?
What do you mean?
What can you order?
Oh, you can order just about anything.
Can you get, good cocktails? Like you can on some American airlines?
That I don't know.
Straight away?
We just had wine, and they just they had the compliment, because when I asked, what, they come around for the beverage service, and it was like wine, and I was like, oh, wine. And then I asked the lady, because, they give you the little kiddie cup, and I was like, can we just do, a couple of those? And she was like, absolutely. Fired a couple of those up, and then I was like, can we remember this section? Came back around. It was a grand old time.
How long was the flight?
12 and a half.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had
You're
a
going to need some...
Yeah.
You need more than two.
Oh, believe me. I was one of those and I was in the bulkhead. I was in that first row. So I was right there at the galley. So it was easy to get up and just be like, hey, can we get a little topper here? And at no point was there a judgmental stare. She knew the drill. She knew the assignment. She was fantastic. Had a nice lasagna. I just was very pleased with what Turkish Airlines brought to the table.
Getting you ready for all that table lasagna.
Yeah, that is true. Table lasagna. It's the move.
Wait, was this on the way home?
This is on the way home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
From Istanbul to Seattle.
Reminding you of all that table lasagna.
Yeah, reminding me of the table lasagna. And if you're wondering, next time you go out to an Italian joint, order your separate meals, table lasagna, you're welcome.
So we'll get back into the wild and wacky NBA playoffs in our next segment. But my tease here was just how expensive will NIL get?
Pretty expensive. It already is. And on top of that, we got revenue sharing.
Well, yeah. So Kirk Cignetti was out recently in an article, and he actually named the schools. And I always find this interesting because everybody kind of names the same schools, but also kind of doesn't.
Yeah.
In other words, nobody really knows. But Cignetti's a coach at Indiana. He knows a lot.
Yeah.
The rumor was that Texas's roster this year in college football will be $40 million. Now, of course,
does that include revenue sharing, or is that just going to be strictly NIL?
I think that's just as it stands now.
Well, Ohio State supposedly had the most expensive roster of all time last year and won a national championship. And I think theirs was 20-something. It's 28 or
well,
whatever.
Who was it that said Oregon? It was Jed Fish.
Yeah.
Said Oregon and Ohio State had $20 million rosters.
Yep.
But again, I think Oregon, everything I've heard, I don't know what you've heard, but it's between the $20 and $25 million range.
I have been told that Oregon does not have an unlimited fund, but that also no one does, and that Oregon will not get outbid for a player. Doesn't necessarily mean that Oregon will go as high as everyone else, but if Oregon wants a player, money will not be a factor in whether or not they get him.
Look, we know they're one of the top tier NIL schools.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious in a lot of the talent they're getting.
Yeah.
But Cignetti said, so the rumor was Texas was going to spend $40 million this year, and of course they had to come out. Or no, it was Chip Brown. You know him, that Texas reporter guy.
He's from like Orange Bloods. He was one of the first guys that had the realignment stuff way back when.
Yeah, he came out and said that's absurd,
Yeah.
which it's not absurd. Well, it might be absurd in terms of $40 million, but you know Texas is right at the top.
Yes.
Come on. So Signetti said in this article, and I forget who wrote it, but he was quoted as saying, the biggest NIL schools for football are Oregon, Ohio State, Texas. Are you shocked yet?
I'm waiting to hear
Well, there is one.
There is one?
Yeah, there's one where it's like, wait, what?
Okay.
So then he goes, Notre Dame, Miami. Are you shocked?
No. Although Miami, we've been told so many times that Miami doesn't have the cash that people think they do, but I mean, it is Miami. They don't have they don't have all the facilities because it's not a big university.
But then they dropped $4 million on Carson.
I know, right? So I mean that's Shapiro. So you really don't need SMU's proof of this. If you just have you have a handful of big name boosters, you don't need a massive pool of people. By the way, is SMU in that list?
No, the last one is close. Texas Tech, he said, because of their oil money.
Yeah. Well, and that's the SMU thing too. It's like Texas has money.
So this was Signetti. And I hadn't, SMU we knew.
Yeah.
But Texas Tech is not one that I had thought of in that regard.
Well, didn't they just get like the largest donor in the country? He some guy sold his oil business. And it's like he's worth $4 billion now or something. That
I don't know.
Given to the university.
So now are they about to become a powerhouse? Because Texas Tech is not a relevant player in college football.
Well, I don't think it instantly means you're a powerhouse, but it certainly helps you compete for big time talent.
It does, but at the same time, and this is what it kind of bugs me about whether you're talking about Ohio State or Oregon or anyone else, dude. You don't just money is not the only reason kids go places. Now, there are some kids, it sounds like the Nico kid at Tennessee, he was just up for bid. He was up for bid when he was in high school, and he's up for bid now. But for the most part, money is somewhat even. Like, Texas Tech does not have the money to pay double what Georgia or Ohio State or Oregon are gonna pay.
So it's a former player who was the head of their collective that just sold his $4.1 billion oil business.
Yeah. So I mean, they are obviously going to be a player, but again, unless they're willing to just,
you're still Texas Tech.
They're still Texas Tech. So if I'm a 5-star kid and Texas Tech comes to me and like, let's say that a going rate for a 5-star kid, let's say it's between $3 and $4 million. Is Texas Tech offering $8? I find that hard to believe that that's what they're doing. But if they are, then maybe we'll see it. Maybe over the next handful of years. But remember, T. Boone Pickens tried to do this. Not now. It'd be interesting if like T. Boone played in this era. But look, we've been buying players in college football for 50 years. It's just more apparent now, and you can make more money. But T. Boone Pickens tried to buy his way into Oklahoma State, being Oregon, and it didn't work.
Yeah, I think
they were good.
To me, the interesting thing is about NIL, because you're right. In some ways, it's all kind of the same. It's just more above board. But I do think what's interesting about NIL, one element is this. There are certain schools that are becoming new age blue bloods.
Yes.
Because of this. Oregon is one of them.
Yeah.
Texas Tech, as mentioned by Signetti, may be one of them. SMU is certainly one of them.
Yeah.
There are schools that are better suited. BYU is one.
This is the weirdest thing.
Because they're uniquely suited for this new culture of college football. They have a bunch of money and a bunch of people who want to donate to sports. So that, to me, yes, it's always been this way. But what's interesting is that you have new teams and new schools capable of keeping up with the old guard.
Yeah. I looked at it. Texas Tech for the upcoming cycle, they're 21st overall in recruiting, but they're number 2 in transfer rank. So when it comes to transfer portal, that seems to be that you're flexing some cash, you're flexing some muscle. But again, it takes more than that. Buying a handful of kids doesn't make you a big time program. It just doesn't. It takes years and years of building a roster, and still the lifeblood of college football is still recruiting classes. So, color me skeptical that Texas Tech will be playing for a national championship anytime soon. But can you become relevant? Yes, you can become more relevant. Like BYU is not winning a national championship, but Mormons have a lot of money, And they have never been willing to spend it because Mormons didn't want to. The school was not willing to bend the rules. But now that it's above board, BYU can pay for kids. And so they are going to become more relevant than ever. In fact, it's funny. When I was at BYU, Utah was our little brother. Like, they couldn't compete with us. And then Utah joins the Pac-12, and they just kicked the living hell out of us. We were a non-factor. I mean, they dominated us. And now all of a sudden, Utah's pissed because we got more money than Utah. And now BYU is leaping Utah. And now we're getting kids that never would have considered us.
Well, if you think about it, you guys might have the most money of anybody.
It's possible.
In terms of if they're willing to
spend it,
to dump it into NIL.
Yes.
If you said name the biggest pool of graduates
and rich people
or just who beats them?
We have a lot.
Notre Dame would have a lot. Texas would have a lot.
Stanford and those places do, but they're irrelevant. This has rendered academic schools like Stanford because
they're not that into sports.
They're not that into sports, and you can't.
BYU they are.
Stanford can't transfer. You can't get transfers in because they can't get admitted to school.
Anybody can get into BYU.
Yeah, as long as BYU kind of is willing to look the other way and not kick some kids out because of the honor code, they are poised to be I'm buying stock in BYU because for years and years and years and years, that fan base has been desperate to be nationally relevant, and it's hard for them because we couldn't get kids, and now we can buy kids, and there will be plenty of donors. That has to be one of the deepest pools of money. Maybe not the high end like SMU, but that is a very, very deep pool of money with BYU millionaires.
But it doesn't. Like you said, it doesn't guarantee anything.
Doesn't guarantee anything.
So
you still have to hire the right coaches. You still have to be able to recruit high school kids. You still have to be able to grow and develop players. And the Ohio States and the Oregons and the Alabamas and the LSUs and the Texas, they have such a head start on those other schools that, I mean, look, Oregon, this has been, a 30-year build for Oregon to get here? I mean, it takes a long time to build up a program like that.
That's a good segue into the next question I want to ask. I want to carry this over because I do have a question about Oregon, and we will get to that next and wrap up this conversation on The Fan.
Check out the Fan Merch Locker.
Oregon. We're talking about NIL. We're doing some hot college football talk here.
There you go.
You mentioned that just because you have deep NIL pockets like these new schools like BYU, Oregon, or whomever, not traditional blue bloods, as it were, doesn't mean you instantly win, and that is true.
Yeah.
But my question about Oregon is this. Where do you think they are if status quo remained? In other words, this whole NIL deal didn't happen. Revenue sharing won't happen. Oregon was on that trajectory long before NIL.
Yes.
But in the old school college football, where do you think Lanning and company are?
I think they're still solidly in the top 12. I think NIL helps Oregon.
Well, it better help them.
It will. I mean, it
already does.
It already does.
I mean,
what an opportunity.
My question is how much? Because, like you said, it doesn't mean you instantly win. Because I feel like Lanning. I mean, that's kind of an insult to Lanning. It's like,
it is.
Dude, it's not just about money. And of course, people will reduce it to that because people hate Oregon and the Phil Knight thing.
It's an easy, lazy narrative.
It is, exactly. And it is a lazy narrative. That said, how do you quantify what that means for where Oregon's at right now?
Yeah.
Because it does coincide with a rise in the program to really
But now, see, I disagree because...
Well, I guess that's not true because they were in two title games.
They played for 2 national title games.
Yeah,
now, they were still... They were still buying...
They have more talent
D'Anthony Thomas didn't come here for free.
So, right. But that's what I'm saying. So this new age even though it's the same, it's different.
It's different. So I think Oregon has been on a steady trajectory, and the last piece to this puzzle is winning a national championship. And I think NIL, like if we're putting a percentage on it, I think NIL helped Oregon 15%. And when you already have played for 2 and you're already considered a solid top 10 program, you're talking about, very marginal difference between the truly elites and just the elites. And I do think that NIL can maybe bring that last 10% that Oregon needs. So I think Oregon will benefit from NIL because I think they do it. You take all the recruiting stuff that Oregon has, all the advantages with Nike. It's one of the probably 3 or 4 coolest, sexiest programs. You talk to recruits. I hear that time and time again from people that are in the recruiting ranks, that Oregon is just a sexy school for kids. Now you throw in the fact that they aren't going to get outbid for kids, that they are going to be on par with any offer that someone can make a kid. And then they did go get a coach that, how do I put this? One of the reasons they hired Dan Lanning is because they saw from Mario Cristobal that this can be done better. They saw from Mario Cristobal that, unlike Chip, because when Chip was here in Bilotti, they had tremendous success, but they didn't recruit the way that Mario did. Mario came in and brought the Alabama model to Oregon and said, we can get the Kayvon Thibodeaux. We can get 5-star kids here on a regular basis. It does not have to be a once-in-a-blue moon thing with Jonathan Stewart and Haloti Ngata. We can get kids like this. We can be a top 4 or 5 recruiter. So when Cristobal left, one of the reasons they went with Dan Lanning and they weren't willing to go back, you remember the Josh Wilcox thing? A lot of people wanted Wilcox, and they were like, he will not recruit. Justin, excuse me, not Josh. Justin.
I can't believe they would hire Josh Wilcox.
That would be
as their coach.
That could be
problematic. But I got to tell you,
it'd be a hell of a ride.
I am here for that.
But one of the things was they did not believe that Wilcox had the structure in place to recruit that way. So one of the reasons they went and got Dan Lanning, and Dan Lanning went and basically brought the GM from Texas A&M, who had just signed at the time the #1 recruiting class of all time at Texas A&M. They wanted to bring an SEC model of program building and recruiting and that sort of attitude to Eugene. And when you couple what Dan Lanning and that staff does with that SEC mentality, and you throw in the fact now that you can bring the money to it with all the sex appeal that Oregon has and the facilities and Nike and all of that, you have created something that had already been built into a phenomenal program. And I do think that can be the thing that puts them over the top. And I know last year didn't end the way they wanted to, but it was the #1 team in the country, undefeated, won the Big Ten, and then you ran into a buzzsaw at Ohio State at the wrong time in the playoffs.
I think it's interesting.
If you see any good players, tell them to come here.
Thank you, Dan. I think it's interesting. You said the SEC mentality.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with that. And Dan Lanning, is that? I mean, like I was reading an article today where they were calling Oregon the new Georgia.
Yeah.
What is it about the SEC mentality? They always just say it just means more. I mean, look, the proof's in the pudding. They get the best players in the SEC.
Yeah.
Or at least they used to. What is that? Like, is it the bigger budgets in SEC recruiting? Is it that they put more emphasis on recruiting? Because everybody around the country has always wanted to recruit.
Yeah.
Right? So in other words, if Dan Lanning came from, so he came from Georgia, but let's say he came from where he coached a national championship at Notre Dame or somewhere not in the SEC.
Yeah. Michigan.
Is he the same? Because I feel like the tutelage under Kirby Smart is a sum of what makes him great.
I think the idea behind
Nick Saban.
I think the idea behind it is in the SEC, it's like the rising tide lifts all boats, and that when you exist out in that world, they've always had more money. The recruiting hotbeds are down there, and you could say the same like if you're in the ACC down in Florida, right? When you're having to compete in that world, out on the West Coast, it used to be the only thing you really had was SC, right? SC got whatever they wanted, and then you had UW and you had Oregon kind of rise up a little bit, but the West Coast. If we're looking at the last 40 years of football, there's 3 West Coast schools that matter, and only 3, right? Oregon, UW, and SC, and SC by far being the dominant power there, although that has shifted now. When you're talking about in the SEC, you are competing every day and every year with Auburn, Alabama, LSU. And now you throw in Texas and you throw in Oklahoma and you still have, and you're, by the way, you're dipping into Florida to compete against Florida State and Miami, and you throw Clemson in there. I mean, it is just nasty.
So you just have to do more.
You just have to do more
to get kids.
Yes.
You have to be relentless, and that's the attitude that you wanted to bring.
When they went and got Lanning, and I don't want to get into like the too many weeds because some of the stuff I don't know how much they want to make this public. He has there's a system, there's a philosophy that he builds his recruiting around that is, it's like, why are some people better at attracting women, right? Like you like the
well,
guy.
I can tell you that because I'm hot.
But we all know that guy that can go into a bar,
Just kidding.
Or the guy that goes into the strip club and like, like he walks out of there with the stripper, and you're like, dude.
Well, hello there.
Well, that's the SEC. You have to have that mentality. And so I do think that more and more programs, as this came about, wanted to go find guys that had cut their teeth in that field. They wanted people that understood this is how Alabama recruits, this is how Georgia recruits, and I'm going to take that mentality and I'm going to go get I'm going to build my roster around people that is the only way we know how to operate, where we don't accept the fact that because we're on the West Coast that we have to settle for 3-star or 4-star kids. No, we are going to be a national recruiter. And you can say what you will about Cristobal. Cristobal started that. Cristobal proved, he didn't have the success that Chip Kelly did or even Bellotti, but Cristobal proved that you can take that mentality and you can bring it to Oregon, and Oregon was not willing to go back.
Yeah.
They were only willing to go forward, and it's one of the reasons, and they found a young guy in Lanning. They said he can keep that going, and Lanning has done it bigger and better than Cristobal.
All right, well, biatches, there is some very hot NIL college football talk. Oh, by the way, wait, I'm not done.
They're fighting for clicks, we're fighting for wins.
I'm not done. No, I'm not done.
How very popular.
Yeah. I wanted to tell you too. So that Signetti's, I love that drop. That
Me too.
That's a good one. Me fake burping.
Mm-hmm.
Fake burping? That was
Yeah,
real.
I don't.
No, that was real.
No, I don't really burp. I've told you this before. I can't burp. I don't burp.
So
They're
what
fake.
The hell? Why are you doing fake burp bits?
Just trying to piss people off. Kinda. Fuckink.
Sure.
Here, I'll do it again. That's not real. Come on, that didn't come from my diaphragm.
All right.
I don't know how to burp.
What were you saying?
I don't know.
You love that drop.
You lost it.
True story.
And to someone's point, like the Texas A&M, how did that class work out? That's the prime example. Texas A&M spent the most money on they said it was the number 1 recruiting class that had ever been assembled in college football, and it went nowhere. And those kids all ended up bolting. So it again proves the point. Just buying a roster doesn't do squat, which is why it's a lazy narrative to say that because someone has money, they're going to be a good team, or that's the reason why they're good. It's a lazy-ass narrative. You can buy a lot of players, doesn't mean you're going to do great. Texas A&M is a prime candidate for that.
No, it was the Signetti article where he was saying the biggest NIL schools in football are Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Notre Dame, Miami, and Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Matt Norlander weighed in on that. He's from CBS, and he's a basketball guy.
Yeah.
And he was saying that in the NIL and basketball, it's a little bit more bunched up.
Sure.
In football, the $20 to $25 million schools, now they're saying upwards of $40 million.
Yeah.
There's only a handful of them, and Signetti mentioned several of them.
Yeah.
In basketball, they say that the highest NIL is just over $10 million.
Yeah.
And that's Duke, Kentucky, North Carolina, shocking, but also St. John's, Arkansas, BYU, Indiana, Louisville, Michigan, and also Texas Tech.
Yeah.
And he said there's a bunch in the next tier that are only a couple million behind, and that's Kansas, UConn, Florida, Houston, Purdue,
There's more
Tennessee,
players
USC.
because it doesn't take as much money.
So at the top of basketball, it's really kind of leveled out.
Yeah.
Not everybody's up there, but a lot of the big schools are up there, whereas in football, you still have, 7 or 8 haves and a bunch of have-nots.
It's a lot harder to come up with $30 to $40 million than it is to come up with, 8 to be competitive. It's insane. Well, they even said too, there was one, we talked about this a while ago. Who was the guy that he left Maryland for? What was that doucher's name? He left Maryland for, is it Xavier or Marquette?
Are you talking about the coach?
The coach.
Oh, what's his nuts?
Yeah, old what's his nuts. What school did he leave Maryland for? He went and took a job. I want to say it was at Marquette or Xavier or something like that. And they said one of the reasons was he went to a school without a football program because they can dump more resources into the basketball because they don't have to split the pie.
Where did he go? That guy's name?
Mark Willard? Is it Willard?
Yeah, he was basically bitching about Maryland and not having the resources he needs. So he went someplace and
he went to Villanova.
And they're saying places like Villanova and St. John's could be in basketball. One of the advantages they have is you don't have to split the pie, especially in revenue sharing. You don't have to split the pie with the football team. Whereas if you're at Ohio State, dude, take a back seat, man. Football's coming first. And everything else is coming second after that. And you don't have to worry about that when you're at Villanova.
Well, now we can play the applause. Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you. We were great there. Gatorade and a towel. Take a timeout. When we come back, we'll go back to the NBA playoffs. Here's Buck.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 per month. Find your Crunch time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com. First on the Fan, a pair of NBA playoff games tonight. One of them going on right now. The Cleveland Cavaliers have opened up a 17-point lead on the Pacers as they try to even the series at home before it shifts back to Indiana. 77-60 with 7:30 to play in the third quarter. Donovan Mitchell leading all scorers with 29 points for the Cavs. Coming up at 6:30, Steph Curry and the Warriors visit the Minnesota Timberwolves for Game 1 of that series. You can see it on TNT. The Wolves are favored by 6.5. Right now on the ice, Game 1 between the Hurricanes and Washington Capitals in D.C. The Caps on the board first. They're up 1-0 midway through the second period. And coming up at 6:30, Seattle Mariners are in Sacramento once again tonight. They're taking on the A's at 7:05. Emerson Hancock is on the hill for Seattle. Jeffrey Springs gets the ball for the Athletics. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
More, please. Golf in the Northwest with Jason Swigart is back. Saturdays at 8 a.m. before the Sinner and the Saint on Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. It's time for Who's Leading the Charge. A look under the hood at the coaches, players, and teams getting it done. Brought to you by Battery Exchange.
Second free throw, Holmgren. Missed it again. Rebound down to Christian Brown. You got to hurry. 7 seconds. Front court over to Westbrook. Left side Gordon for the win. Yeah! 2.8 seconds left. Coming back the other way. Williams from half court. Baked it no good at the horn. And the Denver Nuggets shock the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, the most amazing part of that play is that Westbrook passed the ball.
Yeah.
I thought 100%. This was hero ball Westbrook, and the 30-foot three was getting launched.
Did you guys think that Williams shot was going in for a second?
You're like, "Whoa."
The prayer at the end.
I did not.
That hit the backboard.
He shot it too soon, but it was. When that was up, I was like, oh no,
No.
oh no, oh no.
Been the greatest thing ever.
Battery Exchange. Mention code BXT10 at checkout for 10% off your purchase online at batteryexchange.com.
Bruh, you down. You need an Onaloa mixed plate from 808 Hawaiian Restaurant.
The Fan.
Hey, we got to give a show plug
to John D.
John D, who brought in a. We were talking earlier about Suk and I are very manly, and we are getting into rosés.
Rosé all day, baby.
Yeah, that's right. Rosé all day.
It's a hot day. You get a nice, cool rosé.
And he brought us a black box premium wine bag of rosé.
Yes,
we
do have a box of wine in here.
Yes, it is a crisp and refreshing rosé with enticing aromas of fresh strawberry, watermelon, and white peach. And John,
that sounds delightful.
Sounds wonderful.
Can I say, you put white peach in anything, and I'm on board. Now the question becomes: do I go get a couple glasses now and over the break?
Sure, fire it up.
We break out
Although
a box
we might
of
want to chill it.
Oh, that's true.
It's not cold.
Yeah, it's not cold.
Thanks a lot, John. More people should bring us wine, though.
Couldn't be bothered to chill this box of rosé before bringing it in.
It's a great new bit. We got a text from a sommelier who listens to us.
Yeah, he took offense to us.
Well, he just said, "Hey, listen, if you like nice, light, easy drinking wines and not the tannins of the red wines," he said, there's a lot better than rosé, which I'm sure there. I mean, dude, the guy's a sommelier.
I know.
I mean, he could probably name 8 billion wines that are better than what
exactly
you and I may drink. But whatever, I don't care. He said, I did want to relay what he said, because I said, hey, well, give us some suggestions, you ass.
Yeah, don't just be like, whoa.
You know, John D sent us a whole damn box of wine.
Where's your
What'd you do?
Where's your box of... By the way, I love the fact that it's a box of wine. That's phenomenal.
It is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And we're going to try it.
Yeah, absolutely.
He said steel cask Chablis.
Steel cask? All right, I'm going to take a...
Dry bubbles.
Take a note of this.
And I don't know, he didn't mention like a vineyard or anything, but steel cask Chablis.
All right, we'll see what we got here.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
You know what? Yes, thank you so much for sharing that.
That's why I made the drop.
Yep.
Okay.
Steel cask Chablis. Dry bubbles.
There's a lovely one here from a Willamette Valley Vineyards that's $20 at Fred Meyer. So a nice Baltimore Reserve, if you will. I don't know. We need to try this. Well, thank you for the suggestion.
I'm going to start a winery tonight.
It seems like that's a bit of an expensive.
I'm going to stomp the grapes with my own little feetsies.
Venture. We went to the largest winery in Italy, and let me tell you something. That thing is mind blowing. I don't know how much money they put into that thing, but oh my God.
What was it?
I'd have to look it up. I think I took a photo of it, but I've never seen a facility quite like it. It felt like you were going onto the Nike campus, but for wine. And then the ladies just flocked there. I mean, it was just was a sea of ladies dressed like Han Solo, all looking to take photos of themselves.
Let's go.
And by the way, can I just tell you that's the most depressing part about going to a tourist place like that? Is seeing everyone only interested in taking photos of themselves. No one wanted to take a photo of any of the beautiful things. They just needed a photo of themselves with that as the backdrop.
So I see where the Cavs are up 11 and a half?
I don't know. I'm watching the Capitals and the Hurricanes right now.
Oh. Well, so much for that. I'm not watching it either. I'm watching the Pirates and Cardinals. It's Skeens night.
And someone did point out that my sobriety lasted that long because we talked about that I wasn't going to have anything to drink after coming back from Italy, and yet
here you go.
Now I've
See,
this doesn't even count.
Yes, it
does.
This
doesn't count.
It always counts.
This doesn't count.
Wait, is there booze in this?
This is a no countsy. What, they brought us a non-alcoholic rosé?
Well, you gotta watch John D.
What?
Well, he's a shyster.
Look, all I'm saying is I don't think this counts.
I'm looking for the
alcohol content.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not listed on here conveniently.
Interesting.
Wine enthusiast. Oh, there it is.
By the way, someone's saying I install vineyards. I'm telling you, don't do it. So
install vineyards.
He installs them. I'm guessing he puts the rows up and all that.
Well, look, the wine industry is not exactly booming.
No.
Tough business. But I don't know. I like it. Stop me.
Well,
How about that?
Well, I mean,
it's more like ag than it is wine.
CJ McCollum, he's got a winery, right? Partner with him.
Well, he's rich.
You just got to partner with someone.
Yeah.
I'm really rich.
That's the key to anything.
Maybe I'll text my buddy Channing Frye.
There it is. Partner. Hey, Channing, you still live here? And by the way, do you want
in case he didn't block me?
And I do think he is in the wine game.
Yeah, he likes wine. The wine is big with the NBA guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
They all like the wine.
LeBron's all about it now.
Now, someone's saying we can throw some ice in there and call it good. I think that's the classy move, is to take our warm box of rosé, throw some ice cubes in there, and let's get after it. I like where we're going with this.
All right, we'll wrap up our NBA playoff talk. That was hot NBA playoff talk, if you didn't notice.
Yes, it was.
We'll wrap that up next on The Fan.
It's time for a Ducks Report, the inside story on Oregon athletics. Brought to you by Mods PDX. The future of building is here.
We're talking golf today. The Oregon women in the regionals in Gold Canyon, Arizona. They're now in the lead as the fifth-ranked team in that regional. The top five go on to the Nationals. Also, sophomore Kiara Romero shot the lowest round in Ducks history today. She fired a 62 10
Come
under.
on! What are you, Scotty Scheffler? And you have to turn on your mic if you want to be heard.
I did. It's right here.
No, it was off.
I turned it off for you.
I called it a buttery 62. I was too excited to turn on my microphone.
This is a bad part of not having a hot 5 at 5.
Yeah.
Is I would have had that in there.
And yet you didn't, because
we don't have it a hot 5 at 5.
Killed it.
That's right, I did. And yet Buck got it in here.
Somehow we managed to talk about it.
See, we talk about it no matter what.
Need it.
You don't need it. Mods PDX, the future of building is here.
The home of dirt and spray.
I'm dirt. My takeaway is
The Fan.
Well, thank you for being here with us today.
Yes, thank you.
The club is moments away. There were a couple of Nuggets Thunder nuggies that I wanted to toss out.
Okay.
That we failed to mention in our earlier discussion of said series. That's French, if you didn't.
Wait, so are these nuggies?
Following. These are Nuggy Thundy.
Like Dino Nuggies?
Nuggy Thundy Nuggies. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
I kind of want some Nuggies now.
Sponsor that, sales.
Maybe Chick-fil-A, they have a nice Nuggie.
They do a nice nuggie.
They do. And I know this is kind of a bastard, and I don't eat there much, but it's a childhood thing. I still enjoy a good McDonald's chicken nugget from time to time.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Those are pretty bad.
Throw some sweet and sour on there.
Yeah. The last time we had the top 2 MVP vote getters in the same playoff series. Can you think we want to take a stab at that one?
Run that by me one more time.
You weren't listening, were you?
You said the last 2 the
last
top 2
time
MVP.
we had the top 2 MVP vote getters in the same series. Because we're gonna have,
we're presuming Shea and Nikola.
It should be 1-2.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna get the MVP announcement during this series, aren't we? I think it's coming this week or next.
Yeah, they usually announce it right around the beginning of the second round,
which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
That they're both. It'll probably be Jokic, but
no, it's gonna be it's gonna be Shea.
It'll probably be Shea. But
I think they're doing the it's his turn because he finished 2 last year in the year Oklahoma City had, and they'll give it to Shea.
People are saying last night's game was a nightmare for Shea voters, though, the way that Nikola just took over down the stretch and
about
Shea
one
couldn't close
game
it.
we're like,
aren't the votes in though?
Yeah, the votes are.
But the people who voted are like, oh, maybe I got the wrong one. They're going head to head now, and one looked a lot better.
Yeah. The last time, so
the top 2 MVP vote getters.
Is that like a LeBron?
This shouldn't be that hard.
LeBron and Steph, maybe?
That's a good guess, but no.
No. So I'm trying to think of who else. Like,
there's only a handful of guys in the league that
won MVP, right? Giannis and Tatum. Didn't Tatum win the MVP? Or did he not get it?
Well, it's not that.
Okay. Trying to think of who else. Jokic has won a couple. Steph
They're
has won a
old
couple.
guys.
They're old guys. Like, that don't play anymore?
No, they're out there.
They're still out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, one of them got eliminated, but the other one you saw.
So like LeBron and Steph or
one
something
of them's
like that?
on the Nuggies.
I literally said LeBron and Steph. Thank you for listening. Fuck, I love when you do that.
God, that's my favorite part of the show.
I know, the tri-Clyde over there. It's phenomenal.
Sprint tri-Clyde.
Sprint tri-Clyde. All right, so it's Jokic.
Do you think anyone knows what we're talking about?
Probably not.
About anything? We're like full of inside jokes. Absurd.
Well, I like when someone tunes in and we call it the Willamette.
No, it's not the Willamette, you idiot.
It's insane. Okay, so it's Jokic. And so who would have Jokic have played?
No, it's not Jokic.
You just said you just saw him.
You did.
Well,
that should be a dead give, bro.
Now I'm confused because you had Jokic, you had Giannis, Embiid.
He played last night.
He played last night?
One of them.
Oh, we going back to Westbrook?
Russell Westbrook and?
Well, technically it would be this because Russell Westbrook and Jokic are playing in the same series.
Same year, same top 2 MVP vote getters from the same year met in a playoff series.
Westbrook Harden?
Last time that happened. Yes, Westbrook Harden.
Oh.
You got there.
Okay.
2017.
Took us a little bit.
It sure did.
Yeah.
Roundabout. No, there don't.
The old
squiggly line.
The old Sprint tri-Clyde over there. Got it.
Sprint tri-Clyde.
Eventually.
Yes. Yes. We're getting that right now, too. I see we're improving. So that's the last time that happened. So it's kind of a cool, it's kind of a cool thing. SGA against Jokic.
Yeah.
Also from that series, since 2000, there have been 15 series where one team was coming off a sweep and the other team had to go 7 games. And the team that was coming off the sweep.
Yeah, I think I saw this. They were like 0 for right or maybe 1.
14-1.
Yeah, I saw that little.
So
I saw that
one bodes
after.
well for Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
However, historically, teams that win game 1 in 7-game series win the series 77% of the time.
I stated it, and I'll stand by it. And if it turns out to be wrong, I don't really care. You can make fun of me. Boston,
you do care.
Boston and Oklahoma City will win this series, and I don't even think they go 7. Boston and OKC in 6. They're just better teams. And I know it's fun when we get weird nights like last night, but Boston was up by 20. Oklahoma City was up by 14. And if you watch those games, the better team was clear. And over the course of 7 games, Jokic is not going to, Boston's not going to miss 45 threes. And Oklahoma City
45
freaking
that is
3-pointers.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
I hate them. I hate them.
And yet they're going to roll New York. And then last night, I mean, the fact that Oklahoma City even lost, dude, Denver plays like 6 guys. They have 6 guys, and the guy off the bench that matters is Russell Westbrook. And I know he's playing well right now. It's still Russell Westbrook. They are going to get tired and beat up over the course of this series. I just feel very confident that the best team over 7 games wins, and I am very confident that the best team in these series are Oklahoma City and Boston.
Cavaliers lead the Pacers by 14 at the end of the third, even though Cavaliers are missing half of their team.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you, repeat, as I said this earlier, but if Golden State wins tonight, that will be the first time that a playoff round, in a playoff round, that the road team has won all 4 games won.
And that's a fun little stat right
Isn't
there.
that fun?
Yes, because the NBA playoffs have been fun to this point, and I think, if you're the NBA, you couldn't, other than the Lakers being eliminated, you couldn't ask for a better start to the series.
By the way, we now have sommelier beef.
Ooh,
yeah, I saw
love
someone.
A beef.
Yeah, someone was like in the
so
wine
there's
business.
another sommelier who's calling out the other sommelier.
Why are you going there? BS.
I love this. I think you guys should prove your worth by bringing us great, expensive bottles of wine.
Wine fight.
Yeah, we did have a wine fight. You want to read it? Because he called him out.
He said, I've been in the wine industry for over 20 years. Steel cask Chablis. What sort of BS is this Somm selling you?
Oh!
Hey, shots fired.
Here are some inexpensive but good suggestions. Vino Verde, Barba de Alba, Crement de Bourgogne, and Rioja Reserva. Rioja Reserva. Okay. I did write those down. By the way.
Shots.
My wife's
fired.
a big fan of the Vino Verde. Can confirm. Very nice, a little effervescent.
Now, are these these are just varietals?
Yeah, I think the Vino Verde is at least.
Varieties. Okay, and he says, if your Somm is telling you to drink steel cask Chablis, first of all, he isn't a real certified sommelier due to his choice of words. I am. And then he says, I am.
Who do you think you are? I am.
And then he says, what does he say? What he is probably suggesting is a Chardonnay from the Chablis subregion of Burgundy in France that has been, have I lost you yet? That has been vinified and aged in stainless steel containers as opposed to oak.
Well, clearly, weren't we all
vessels.
thinking that?
That's what I thought too, but I
Look,
didn't want to say anything.
I think what we have right now, dude, we have a good old fashioned cork off right now. That's what we got.
We do have a cork off.
Wow. Or in
I
this
love
case, we have a box off because our rosé currently is a box of wine.
Yeah, we need to upgrade that. Come on, Somm. Show your worth.
It's cork off. It's cork off. Whew.
All right.
What? Can we focus?
Yeah,
we're done with sports. So,
how do you pick a jury for Diddy's trial? I want to talk about that.
oh yeah, I saw one.
That's happening today.
Yeah, someone got eliminated. Did you see why?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I asked, how do you pick a jury for a Diddy trial? That'll be to kick off the club next on The Fan.
Saving money is smart.
Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this SportsCenter update. First on The Fan, 2 NBA playoff games tonight. One of them going on right now. They just started the fourth quarter in Cleveland. It's 98-85 Cavaliers with about 10 minutes to play in that one. Donovan Mitchell leading all scorers in that one. He has 36 on the night now. And coming up at 6:30 tonight, it is game 1 between the Warriors and T-Wolves in Minnesota. That one's over on TNT. The Wolves favored by 6.5. Meanwhile, on the ice, 2 Stanley Cup playoff games tonight. The Hurricanes and Capitals are the first to drop the puck. They are in their second intermission. Capitals up 1-0 in that one. Then at 6:30, the Oilers visit the Golden Knights for game 1 in the Western Conference of that series. That one is over on ESPN. Meanwhile, the Mariners in Sacramento again tonight. They're taking on the Athletics. A 7:05 first pitch with Emerson Hancock taking the hill for the M's. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Brian Buckley at the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
It's back. The 11th annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms Golf Club happens Tuesday, June 24th. Presented by your local Toyota dealers. Reserve your foursome now at 1080thefan.com. The following show may contain adult themes not suitable for children.
Shut the hell up.
Club 1080 with Isaac and Souk.
It does go well with a chicken.
I didn't know hanging out with you was making me smarter. Full disclosure, Morty, it's not. Temporary superintelligence is just a side effect of the mega seeds dissolving in your rectal cavity. Oh, man. Yeah, and once those seeds wear off, you're going to lose most of your motor skills, and you're also going to lose a significant amount of brain functionality for 72 hours, Morty. Starting right about now.
Club 1080 with Isaac and Souk is brought to you by Pub Beer, the official beer of cheap fun.
Only you. Only you.
If you surround yourself with turds, you're headed towards turd.
Come on, Rob! You want the nutty!
There's probably 6 or 7 guys I can name that I would rather do.
Dude, Chinaman is not the preferred nomenclature.
The only thing better than mauling a small dog is getting fingered while you do it.
She got a great ass.
It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular.
I love Tesla.
It goes drip, drip, drip.
Welcome back to our program. It's nice to have you along.
Yeah. Some of you.
Yeah, not all of you.
Nah. Some of you are real jerks.
Yeah,
Say
but you
mean
can
and-
listen anyway.
Mean and hurtful things.
Yeah, some guy's been all over you today.
Yeah, your lackluster ahoy got us all started here.
Yeah. People are cranky.
Oh,
Do
I
it
love
anymore, you're gonna have problems.
I do love when people take the take the time to write in about something that they don't like about you. Thank you, whiny bitch. Thank you for taking the time.
Bye.
Again, I feel like if I apply myself, I can be a completely different person just for you. Google me, bitch.
Who cares what people say? I have 2 collective fingers for them.
Except now we're talking about rosé and nuggies, and now I kind of want rosé and nuggies. We got warm box rosé, but I got no nuggies. Maybe a stop for a pre-dinner chicken Sammy on the way home.
Maybe John D can bring you the Wendy's.
The Wendy's spicy nugget is a good nugget.
Mm.
It's not a bad little nuggie. But if I'm going like the Chick-fil-A, they make the strongest bird in the game. Like if you're talking,
That's correct. Strongest chain bird in the game.
It's
no
the
question.
strongest bird. It just is.
Somebody told me that the other night at dinner.
You've still never had Chick-fil-A, right?
No, I've never had it. But I proceeded with my opinion, which I've given many times here on this program.
Yeah.
That how good could it be? It's an effing chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
And that did not go over well.
No.
Well, the floor on a chicken sandwich is very low because chicken sandwiches can be horribly, horribly bad with
But he
bad
was
bread,
saying-
bad breading. Like,
Well, sure. Look, I'm not saying that all chicken sandwiches are the same. They're not.
No.
Some are better than others.
You're just saying
what
that-
I'm saying is that the base of the chicken sandwich is just chicken. It's all the same.
it should be easy, but it's not. A
See,
lot of
that's
fast food places screw it up, and not Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, that's a silly statement to say that all chicken sandwiches are roughly the same. That's ridiculous.
No, I didn't say that. I said the chicken of the chicken sandwich is the same. All
No.
chicken sandwiches are different.
No, because some chicken sandwiches are made with rat ass and like donkey teeth. I'm sorry, like You go get yourself a McChicken sandwich, and then you go get yourself like a chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A or Popeyes, and tell me if
Well,
that
what are
is
they
not.
doing to that chicken?
It's a different kind of chicken.
It is not a different kind of chicken.
It is.
It's
a
more
chicken.
moist. It's better seasoned. It's cooked better.
It's breast meat. Again, lack of pelican teeth in there.
Yeah, it's not rat ass, as Sue said.
Yes.
Why
The
are you
rat
going
ass
in?
content has a huge
What was it? Rat ass and what kind of teeth? Bird teeth or something?
donkey teeth,
Donkey
pelican teeth,
Yeah.
whatever you want. You mix them in there. Yeah. Whereas one, you get like the Chick-fil-A is like a big fat breast, and it's delightful. Whereas like you get some other ones, and that's just compacted, just goo. That's like saying a nice like slab of oak is the same as particle board. It's
It
just
can
not.
be processed or over-processed or under-processed. Like, that's a thing. You'll get, like, chicken-like substance, and
So
it
you're
might
saying-
be chicken, but it's like they've just cut up a bunch of chicken and then mashed it together to make a patty, whereas there's one that's like, that's a chicken breast.
So you're saying it's well-cooked chicken.
And
And well
well-prepared
sourced.
chicken.
Yes. Well-sourced, well-produced.
Like not all beef is
I
the
can't
same
get behind
beef.
it. Well, that's true.
Yeah, if we
So
had
it's
a,
like that.
If we had a chicken off and I brought you in several chicken sandwiches, immediately you would be like, yeah, that's not the same chicken.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I still think that it's only going to be marginally better based on what you put with it.
Yeah.
And that's just, that's just fact. It's
Should we do a
science.
head-to-head chicken sandwich taste test?
A
here?
couple years ago, people were dying in the chickening over the Popeyes chicken sandwich.
Yeah, that one dude was crying.
People died. People were murdered over the Popeyes chicken sandwich. Sorry, not all chicken sandwiches are created equal.
Well, no, not all chicken sandwiches are created equal, but all chickens are.
I disagree. Sweatshop chickens.
That's my point. Now, yes, I mean, it's like steak in a sense that, not every cat, like there's different cuts of meat from the cattle.
Yeah.
It's how it's prepared, how it's, aged. There's a lot of different variables. But I think there's more in steak than there are in chicken, are there not?
Well, it's a larger animal, but still.
Yeah. But I just
It's
mean
an
like,
ignorant statement to say, like, that's like saying steak is steak, chicken is chicken. No, it's not.
No, I think steak is not steak, but I do think chicken is chicken.
And
It's
that's
an
where you're
ignorant
wrong.
opinion. It's an ignorant opinion.
Do you want to hear just how much one man loved the Popeyes chicken? We have that audio.
Yeah.
Sure.
And the tears from my sweat and my tears taste like chicken. They got a pickle on that chicken sandwich. They got a pickle. Listen to me. They got a pickle on the chicken sandwich that tastes like chicken. The pickle tastes like chicken. You hear me? They got it's a buttermilk bread.
It's hard not to
It's buttermilk bread, and the bread's so soft that it just melts in your mouth.
Loves it.
Yeah.
Who is that?
That was a guy who loved the Popeyes chicken.
he needs
was
to get out
crying.
more.
He was in tears.
Well,
He
we
loved
got
it so
we got the fat kid that was like, it's chicken. That guy waited in line. I think that was Chick-fil-A. That little fat
No,
kid.
he said Popeyes.
No, but the little fat kid waited in line.
Your drop. It's chicken drop.
Yeah.
It's chicken.
That's the little fat kid waiting in line for Chick-fil-A.
Well, again, get out more. It's just
And
a
you go-
chicken sandwich.
And again, the Chick-fil-A, man, they got that nice buttery, like they do that butter bun. And the bun is warm, and
their spicy version is excellent.
It's yeah. When in doubt, always get the spicy.
Well, I think you should present a chicken sandwich taste test to us.
Okay.
Yeah, but then see that's problematic again. Now we're
Why?
bringing in cold chicken.
Well, yeah. It's like, yeah, that's a little bit tough because when do we actually do the test? When do I have to pick them up? At that
You know
point,
what I'm
is the
gonna do
test
for you?
valid?
Because then we just got cold chicken.
Gonna deliver it, get it Uber Eats to us?
Yeah,
We could do that.
that'd be better.
I'm not paying.
Because I remember once we had Mike Lynch do the McDonald's challenge,
Yeah.
and I had to bring that in. Like I ended up picking that thing up at like 1:45, and Mike didn't end up eating it until like 4:30.
Yeah.
And I felt bad. Not only was he eating crappy all that McDonald's, but it was just like cold ass McDonald's sitting around. Yeah, it was rough.
Come on.
Where were we?
I don't know. Somehow we
we
got
were
on
going to talk
chicken
about
and-
the Diddy jury.
Oh yeah,
The Diddy J.
yeah.
We're going to do that.
I'm not getting on that jury.
No,
He
you're-
did it her. He
you're
did a
not.
lot of
No.
dinners.
Hold on.
Achoo. Why would anyone want to be on a jury?
Excuse me.
That's a whole other problem.
I want to be on a jury.
I believe the only people that go on juries are morons.
Well, there is some truth to that in a sense that you're going to get weeded out probably if you're telling the truth.
Yeah.
But I think that the justice system is interesting. And I think that and I'd gladly not work here to be on juries.
You want to be sequestered for like a month and a half? Cool.
Sounds like he wants to be a full-time juror.
I think you could try a lot of chicken sandwiches then.
Jesus, hold on.
Wow. I think we hit a nerve there.
I just want to be on a jury, and I told you the story of me being kicked off of out of the jury pool. I'm still to this day pissed about it because I was coerced, and that's exactly why I got kicked out.
Yeah. Well, you're problematic. I'd weed you out too.
I'm coercible.
Yeah, I don't like it.
But it wasn't a cool crime or anything.
Yeah.
The guy, it was a kid, and he stole like a trailer. I was like,
hot crime.
This is really going to trial.
Yeah, I want nothing to do with that. I've never been called to jury duty.
What?
Never happened.
All right.
I sat in on a rape trial, and let me tell you, that thing was intense. I don't want to be the one deciding that thing. That was a dude's life on the line.
You don't think that's interesting?
Sucker.
Sucker?
Yeah, but it just was very, like, I had no stake in the matter. I didn't really know the person that well. It was more of a friend of a friend. But just sitting in that courtroom, man, I did not like it. It was interesting for a day, but the second day I went back, I couldn't take it. I was like, dude, this is just bad.
Well, the other thing, too, is don't you trust yourself to, like, do the right thing?
Yeah, I do, but I don't, I don't want to. I don't want that.
But you're serving. Like it's important to have people on the jury
that aren't morons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That will actually think through this the right way. And
then
then you could be one of those
but
people.
You get on there with like 11 other mouth breathers, and I don't.
Then you're fighting with them in the jury room.
Exactly.
You get free food, they'll bring you Chick-fil-A.
And that's why we had Chinese food for lunch. Not certain that I'm willing to take on that responsibility I think I'd rather do the trailer case than I would someone's fate.
It wasn't going to last long.
Yeah.
Plus
I'm in there for a month and a half, and then like I'm deciding someone's life, and then there's like a death penalty case and all that. I don't want that on my conscience.
The defense attorney, he seemed like kind of a boob too. I'm not going to lie. I was already against him.
Yeah, I see.
I'm
Exactly.
like,
that's why I am an
weeded
ignorant
you out.
boob. I do. I'm probably way too judgmental.
I was for the state.
I'd be immediately be like, can you be impartial? Probably not. I'm going to decide within the first 10 minutes. Yeah, you did that, S, or you deserved it.
So how do you pick a jury for the Diddy case? That is next on The Fan.
It's back, and it's sure to sell out fast. Your
just big, oversized clothing is. Did you see the Met Gala?
Well, that's not really indicative of anything. That's just how much of a jackass you can dress.
What? Oh, you don't want to wear a dress that's a necktie?
Andre 3000 wore a piano.
Yeah, I liked it.
he had a piano on his back. I don't know what the significance of it was, but he had it on. So yeah, that's not. Yeah, I don't know what that Met Gala is, but it's just how ridiculous you can dress, and it's a thing. It's like a Halloween costume.
So they have 150 potential jurors for his case, and they asked them about. So they're trying to pick the jury right meow.
Yeah,
and then next week they're going to start opening arguments, and they're saying that all the jurors will remain anonymous. But there's 150 of them they're trying to weed through, and they asked them all about a list of celebrities that included Mike Myers, Kanye West, Kid Cudi, and Michael B. Jordan.
That would be Kid Cudi.
Oh. It should be Cudi.
It's not. I think it's Kudi, I believe.
It's because his last name is Muscuddy, and so he goes by Kid Cudi.
Thanks for bringing that to the table, Buck.
Well, context.
So they're just saying, do you like Mike Myers?
No, they don't know. So no one knows why they brought up these particular, and there were other celebs on there, but Mike Myers.
But when they bring him out, it's like, do you have a positive or negative opinion?
Things like that, yeah. And they're weeding them out with those names, and they don't really know if they're going to be a part of the case or not.
Interesting. The only thing about Mike Myers, he was there when Kanye West was like, George Bush hates black people. Mike Myers was there. Mike Myers was there. It was like,
yeah, he was standing right next to him. Katrina relief.
Like,
That's right.
Boy, Kanye has been involved in some wonderful, awkward moments.
So, do we think Kanye's just doing bits to stay relevant?
I think he's insane. I mean, his wife says that as well. I guess his former wife. Yeah,
But do we think he's doing bits just to stay relevant?
No, I think he's off the deep end. That dude he's psychotic.
Yeah, I think he's experienced a mental break and doesn't take medications, and he's gone.
He bought a Super Bowl commercial to sell Nazi T-shirts. That's it. He put a Super Bowl ad out there, and then it took people to his website, and the only thing he had for sale was Nazi T-shirts. One T-shirt.
Last week he came out and said he was having relations with his cousin for 8 years.
Dude,
his male cousin.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. So, yeah, so they just ask you like I don't know. I think, is it one of those, like, they're trying to get people that, you're supposed to eliminate people that want to be on the jury, right?
I don't know about that. I think that...
In some cases, yeah, but also you're trying to eliminate people who you think will be unjust or unbiased.
Yes.
How much baby oil have you used in the last year? Sure. Thought on sodomy and just general baby oil use.
Well, they did. There was one guy who said that the hotel video of Diddy throwing his lady to the ground and kicking her, when he's in the towel.
Yeah.
He called that damning. And so they kicked him off.
You can't have that on there.
And then the defense tried to kick off a woman who worked for HBO because they made the Diddy documentary, The Fall of Diddy.
Yeah.
She had nothing to do with the documentary, and so they did not allow them to kick her off.
I'm just convinced that the only way you can get on a jury is to prove beyond a shadow of the doubt that you don't know D about anything. And I'm not certain those are the people I want deciding my fate.
Well, I heard an expert talk about this, saying that that's not necessarily true in terms of they know people have heard Diddy's music, or they've, they know the story, or they've even seen the video.
Yeah.
It's just that you want people who can put all of that aside and understand the system and say, hey, I can be impartial. How the hell you figure that out without,
I think it's a
anybody
skill.
can lie.
It's a skill for lawyers to be able to jury selection is a specific sort of attorney, and they have people that's what they do.
Yes. And that right there is fascinating.
Well, it's like poker, right? Why are people good poker players? Because they can read other people. So, I know, big law firms will have someone that specifically is just there for jury. That is their only job, is jury selection.
So if you're lying to them, I'm guessing you're right. They can sniff that out.
But isn't that a weird, and that's
But why lie?
Our criminal justice system is better than most, but stuff like that is weird. It goes back to the idea of if you've got a bunch of money and you can get someone that gets the right jury on there, I don't know. That's why I just don't know if I want anything to do with it, because it just seems you're gaming the system. It's not about whether you're innocent or not. It's about whether or not you have a good enough lawyer team that you can find a jury that's dumb enough to buy your horse crap logic. It's it's the O.J. Simpson thing, right? Like, you just throw enough at people, you just have to create some sort of doubt. Casey Anthony, people that are obviously guilty, but then you get people on there, they're like, well, I guess I can buy an alternative theory to this.
Well, I can't believe. Are you following this? Did you watch the Karen Reed one?
I haven't seen the Karen Reed one. You haven't seen it? Yeah, I know it, but I haven't followed it.
It's pretty juicy.
Yeah.
And I am stunned that was a hung jury.
Yeah.
The first time.
Yeah.
Like, who in there was dead set that she had done that?
Yeah.
Because there is not a lot of evidence against her. So the whole statement of you just never know what a jury's going to do.
Yeah.
That highlights the problem.
Yeah.
Because you get it's just the human element, and then you add the attorneys, who some better than others, or court appointed versus big high dollar attorney. That's. Yeah. Well, it's tough.
There's so many of these cases that you end up reading about, and whether it's like a rural black guy in an affluent white community, or vice versa, and you look at the jury and you're like, that's a jury of my peers, and it's just, I don't know. There's just so much that goes into it. Change of venues and what kind of judge you get, and again, I know no system's perfect. I'm just not certain that in the case of someone's life. Like, you're literally determining someone's life, and sometimes it is life and death, let alone, just going away to jail for 20 years. I just don't know if I want that on my shoulders. I don't know if I need that in my life.
There's a guy who says, I was in the jury pool. They asked what I thought of injury lawsuits. I straight up said, I don't think people deserve $1 million for being in pain just because you can blame someone. And I ended up on the jury. Some lady wanted almost $1 million for a frivolous injury.
Really? I'm guessing he didn't give it to her.
That's wild.
Yeah,
maybe they were out of
challenges.
Because you can only eliminate 3 each or something.
Yeah, the defense is like, yes,
perfect. That guy will pay you.
Well, it's not like, can you just say like the most offensive thing? Like, to get, I feel like if you don't want to be on a jury, it's not that hard to.
Hey, the Nazi Power Hour. Where do I find that? Hey, have you guys ever heard of the Nazi Power Hour?
Yeah, can I just show
you're
up?
A dismisser.
I just show up and start spewing like white propaganda and be like, and then next thing I know, I'm on the jury.
When I was in the jury box being selected, or in this case eliminated, most of the people that were eliminated had conflicts. But the judge wouldn't just say, you couldn't just say, I have to work, or I have this. Mm-hmm. You had to explain to him what the conflict was.
Why you couldn't miss it.
Yeah, and and some of them he said, no, that's not good enough. And others he said, okay, you're out of here.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of odd. Nobody really did in my instance, I probably saw 7 or 8 people get eliminated or just get flushed out of there.
Yeah.
And none of them, it seemed that none of them did it on purpose in terms of just the easy way out. Yeah. I didn't see that. Well, I kind of hoped I did.
Yeah. The only real trial I've sat in on was the rape trial, and I was watching the jury. I was like,
yeah.
And again, what do I know, right? I'm just some idiot. And by the way, there's a big column block in my view. I thought it was very weird. The Vancouver courtroom. What's that column doing in the middle? And the judge was kind of hot. And I was always afraid that the judge was I don't know. The whole thing just made me nervous. But I was watching the jury, and I just thought that the jury looked checked out like half the time. Like one dude,
I think that happens, man.
Yeah,
pretty boring.
Yeah, they just because it.
Isn't that part of the defense though, or part of the? Yeah,
but just part of the
defense.
Due process. It drags, and you're in a sterile indoor room, and
it is not like Law and Order. There is so much minutia.
Yeah.
And I was looking over there after the 3rd hour. I was looking over at the jury, man, and I'm telling you, it felt like half of those people weren't listening one bit.
No,
at all.
people are sleeping with their eyes open, man.
And just kind of looking around and staring off, and then they went to recess, and I went out there, and I was like, man, if I was the guy and that was my. Again, that's my freedom. That's my life. And I'm looking over the jury. I want to be like, hey, wake up. Pay attention. My life.
Ready, break.
Yeah, something. Can we get some Red Bull? Get some Monsters over there?
Ron, are you paying attention? Nope.
That's what I felt like.
Well, that's why you pay an attorney. He's got to wake him up.
Yes.
With his hot cross X.
Courtroom's scary. I don't know. Courtrooms freak me out.
All right, guys. That's enough of that crap. Did you see who...
but we never did say that the one guy got booted for the weed, right?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
there was one juror, and somehow, I don't know, it got brought up, but he said that he smoked weed every day, and they were like, is it going to be problematic because you're not smoking weed every day? And the guy's like, yeah. So they booted him. Apparently, you're not allowed to smoke weed when you're on the jury.
I do know that.
Which, by the way, is a great, if you want to get off a jury, by the way, I like to roll a bone when I wake up in the morning, do a little wake and bake. Apparently, that gets you kicked off.
Now, which side do you suppose booted him?
Y'all want to buy some
I think all sides.
They all mutually agree, yeah, we don't want this guy.
You can't
Get
have
this
the
idiot stoner out of here.
I just love that they were like, sir, is that going to be a problem?
You
The
don't
guy's
think
like,
the defense
yep.
wants the stoner?
I don't know.
They probably want the stoner.
I just thought that was interesting. That was the question. Can you stop smoking weed?
Yeah,
no.
baby.
All right, well, thanks for coming.
You know Rod Stewart?
I do know Rod Stewart,
Do you
not
remember him?
personally, but
You remember Rod
if
Stewart?
you want my body and you think I'm sexy, come. Isn't that Rod Stewart?
Yeah.
I do know that.
He sang that.
Forever Young. I always associate that with Rod Stewart.
Ooh,
Might be my
greatest
favorite.
Rod Stewart song.
I'm going Forever Young. Maggie May, perhaps.
Ooh, good one. I'm gonna look that up. See what they say. See what the people say.
I don't think the kids are saying anything.
The kids. Who's Rod Stewart?
I don't
See
think
what the kids
I don't think
say
the
about
15-year-olds are
Rod
like,
Stewart.
man.
What do they think about Kid Cutie? That's what I want to know. He was the original Kid Cutie. He
was.
Rod Stewart.
You know, he's a crossover entertainer. He is an actor as well. Scott Muscudi.
Rod Stewart?
No, Scott Muscudi.
Oh. Anybody seen Rod Stewart lately? Because
No, I have not.
yeah, I'm wondering how things are going.
I'd go if he came, if he was on like the not the arena, but the like A&A circuit. I'd go listen to Rod
Yeah, I
Stewart.
think he's still playing bigger arenas than that.
Is he?
Yeah, well, bigger venues. The ladies love him.
Okay.
You know, you can't. The ladies will never ditch him. They'll show up with their crochet needles and sit there and wait for him to.
Well, dude, he's playing Downtown Train. Sign me up.
Downtown Train.
It's great. That's a great tune. Are you poo-pooing?
Give me his list. What do you got?
So this is according to smoothradio.com. Should we break and then come back? Because
Yes, we should.
We're waiting.
Okay, so Rod Stewart did that show with 3.5 million people in Rio.
Yeah.
Remember that? We talked about that
Yeah.
concert. Somebody else did that recently, and they got 2 million.
Oh, it's not 3 million.
That's a big-ass show.
Big ass show.
We'll tell you who that was. Next, here's Buck.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this SportsCenter update. First on the Fan, a tight one coming down the stretch in Cleveland. The Cavaliers have surrendered a big lead. It's now 117-112 in favor of Cleveland. They've got the ball with 1:03 left to play. Donovan Mitchell with 46 points on the night. Coming up in just a matter of moments out in Minnesota, game one between the Warriors and Timberwolves. It's on TNT. The T-Wolves are favored by 6.5. Meanwhile, game one between the Hurricanes and Capitals going on in our nation's capital right now. It is tied 1-1 late in the third period. And coming up at 6:30 tonight over on ESPN, the Oilers and Golden Knights do battle in game one in Las Vegas. Meanwhile, on the Diamond, the Mariners are in Sacramento again this evening, taking on the Athletics. Emerson Hancock is on the hill for the M's. First pitch is 7:05. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Curtain missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The inside story on the Blazers, Ducks, and Beavers. Danny and Dusty. Weekdays noon to 3 on the Odyssey app and 1080 The Fan.
Hey, it's Suk. And guys, if you're losing your hair and you need a simple solution that actually works, you want the best. Modern technology with top-rated physicians and something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need advanced hair. They've completely redefined hair restoration, from the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, you can address them all with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment in a calm, relaxed environment with the most experienced professionals. Advanced Hair has performed tens of thousands of these breakthrough treatments. And get this, your very own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day. No one can offer anything like the advanced FUE found at Advanced Hair, and I highly recommend their team. It starts with your free consultation. Call 503-832-HAIR, and if you qualify, you're also going to get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with a team that's redefined hair restoration. 503-832-HAIR. That's 503-832-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
Hey, it's Dusty. Victor Rico's just dropped new menu items. Restaurant quality, made fresh, and served fast. Plus, they're open late. So whenever hunger hits, Victor Rico's is ready. Trust me, it's delicious. Visit them in-store or order online at victorricos.com for takeout or delivery.
We've already broken temperature records. Hey, it's Rob. Light at the end of the tunnel for us golfers. It's time to dust off those wrenches. Book your tee time now at Langdon Farms Golf Club. No better place in the Northwest for year-round golf. LangdonFarms.com.
Cloudy skies in Portland tonight with temperatures dropping in the mid to low 60s.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples store has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. Save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
Club 1080 with Isaac and Suk.
Sitting on a cloud of judgment, handing down life lessons to all the sinners.
Club 1080 with Isaac and Suk is brought to you by Pub Beer, the official beer of Cheap Fun.
Double Sun Power!
So Rod Stewart, I forget what year this was. I gotta look up what year this was.
What are the kids saying about him?
Well, they compare him to Kid Cutie.
Oh, yeah, naturally, as one does.
Stewart, now 80, by the way, looks terrible.
He's 80 years old?
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. Now, Barry Manilow's coming to town. Remember we talked about that the other day?
Standing on stage.
He looks better than Barry Manilow.
Yeah, well, Manilow's 81. Manilow's 1 year older.
And Manilow has all this surgery. It looks like Rod Stewart has just let himself age.
Yeah,
I don't think he looks that bad. I mean,
well, he just looks like super old Rod Stewart.
He's for 80, you know.
Whereas Barry Manilow looks like
he's plastic.
Bruce Jenner. Or Caitlyn, I guess.
Yeah.
But and that's not, I mean, look, he looks fine. It's just a lot, I'm saying a lot of plastic surgery.
Yes.
It just looks, it's just odd. Anyway, but to your point, well, I don't know. I think some would say Barry Manilow looks better.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would be a feather in the cap of plastic surgery.
Sure.
You know.
I just think when you go overboard on plastic surgery, I always think you look better if you just let yourself age a little bit. And who's Rod Stewart trying to impress? I guarantee he has a hot model wife.
So anyway, that Copacabana Beach concert, whatever year that was, Rod Stewart drew 3.5 million people.
Yes.
Which I don't have any idea how they count that. It was a free concert. I'm sure that number's exaggerated.
It's a lot of people.
But they're saying that's the biggest ever
concert ever
audience for a concert.
Yeah.
Now, and again, you get into technicalities here. Madonna played there last year, same beach in Rio. She drew 1.6 million, and they said that it was the largest audience ever for a standalone concert. Because Rod's was part of a bigger festival.
Thing, yeah.
So that was 1.6. Now, this year, just, I don't know the actual date, but it was this year, 2025. Do you know who broke the record? Who went there and did a show recently? 2.1 million attendees at the same place. They say it is the largest ever audience for a female performer of all time ever in the world.
Okay, well, it's a female performer. I was going to say someone like Ed Sheeran.
No.
So female, I'm going to say either Swift, Beyonce.
Nope. Next best.
Swift,
well,
Beyonce.
I shouldn't say next best. But
Rihanna, Pink.
If you're going a
Chappell
top...
Roan.
Ooh, that's a good guess, but no. If you're going a top 3 female artists right
Taylor
now,
Swift,
I'm guessing you're going Beyonce, Taylor Swift, and this woman.
Beyonce,
She's
Taylor
enormous.
Swift. Who am I missing?
Lady Gaga.
Oh, Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
And dare I say,
Gaga.
maybe controversial to some, by far the best of those three.
No
Lady
question.
Gaga is wonderful.
She's more talented than those other
and it's
two.
not even. She's more talented than the other two put together. She's great.
But she got 2.1 million people.
That's a butt ton of people
for Mayhem on the Beach.
Would you want to be? I would not want to be there.
No,
That's-
and like, do you even hear it? Like, you kind of hear the music.
I don't know.
You know,
That's
but you don't really hear it.
I don't know. I just don't want to be in a crowd of 2 million people. That's no thanks.
You know who? Oh,
Hard
by the
pass.
way, what did they put for Rod Stewart's top song?
So it's tough. So there's different rankings. He has 4 number 1 hits. So if you wanted to go with that,
What were his 4 number ones?
Tonight's the Night, gonna be all right.
Ooh, that's a good song.
All for Love, and that was with Bryan Adams and Sting. Do You Think I'm Sexy, and Maggie May.
Okay.
So
3 of those are good.
Those are his 4 number 1 hits, and almost every ranking from Rolling Stone, this is goldradio.com, Maggie May is viewed as his opus.
That's what everybody says.
Yeah. And then after that, you've got
And that's Wake Up Maggie, I think I got something to say.
some other ones that are up there. You Wear It Well, The Killing of Georgie is up there quite a bit. People like Young Turks.
Ugh.
And then you get in a hodgepodge of, I mean, he's got a lot of hits. He's had 37 songs that are in the Billboard top 50.
Oh, you know what song I liked? You're in My Heart.
Great tune.
That's a good song.
Yes. I really like Downtown Train, and I like Forever Young.
Forever Young is my number 1. It's kind of anthem-y.
Yes. And that's like probably when I was growing up. Like
Is that the one where he's riding on the hayride?
Yeah, he's riding on the hayride. He's got the little kid that he's like holding. You know,
The instrumental intro is really good. The da-da-da.
Yep. Da-da-da. So there's just Rod Stewart's great.
That was really good, Buck.
Wasn't that great?
Oh. But yes, You're in My Heart is a great tune. That by the way, that peaked at number 4 on the.
Really, that didn't get to number 1, eh?
No, he only had the 4. Forever Young peaked at 12.
What year was?
Yeah, this is.
It's a great
I
song.
love this.
Wasn't this a little bit later in his?
This was 1989.
Okay.
So his peak was in the 70s.
Yeah,
he was
with
one
the-
of the
with
most.
the hot.
He was one of the most successful artists of the 1970s.
Yeah, the ladies loved him.
Yes.
And I mean, look at him.
Well, I mean, other than the hair, I mean, and I think he was a professional soccer player as well.
Really?
Yeah, I think early on, I think
know
he was a
that.
professional soccer player. He was really good.
By all accounts, a pretty cool dude too.
Look, if you're trading lives with someone, you can do a lot worse than such a great tune.
I'm gonna
You got
karaoke
Some
this.
Guys Have All the Luck in the Motown song.
Oh,
and-
Some Guys Have All the Luck.
There's so many of them.
I forgot about that song.
Yeah, Baby Jane's great. Ain't Love a Bitch. He's great.
He
First
was
cut,
great.
First Cut is the deepest.
Yeah.
Although that was a remake. That was a Cat Stevens song, but it was a big hit for him.
A lot of great hits for Rod.
Yes.
What's Kid Cutie ever done?
Good times.
I'm gonna keep it here so I can watch the end of the Cavs game.
Are they getting ready to gack this thing away?
Yeah,
Oh, no.
well, it's down
They're
to
up by- They're up
5.
by 5 with 35 seconds. They can't possibly blow this, can they?
In the NBA, that's not. What do you mean they can't? What? Were you watching last night? What is this?
It's Kid Cudi, baby.
Ugh.
I know what I'm going to be listening to on my way home. and
Kid
it will
Cutie?
not be Kid Cutie. Rod Stewart will be on the Spotify playlist.
What are you gonna pull up? You gonna pull up an album or a song?
No,
down to 3.
We're going to do we will just do the best of Rod Stewart. You throw on Spotify and then you just,
Like, this is Rod Stewart.
this is Rod Stewart.
Yeah.
And then you know what? You let DJ Ghost Steve, just throw it out there.
Have
and-
we underrated Rod Stewart all these years? Is he underrated?
I think in modern times, yes. Now, if you ask someone that was like 60 or 70, no. But I think the modern people, like
He kind of gets lost.
he
in
gets
the,
lost in the shuffle.
Nobody ever talks about him. Dude, he was greatness.
Yes. Someone said turning off Primetime to watch YouTube videos of Rod Stewart. And by the way,
hey,
it's a good
move.
I can't fault you for that. I can't. No, I can't. You ever go
We're
down?
we're almost done.
You ever go down the YouTube music video rabbit hole?
All the time.
To be
Dude,
fair, Rod Stewart could probably wait 15 minutes.
That's what
I
I'm
can't
saying.
tell you the number of times like I'm about ready to go to sleep and then like what?
Yeah.
David Lee Roth, California Girls on YouTube, and the next
you
thing
watch-
and next thing you know, 2.5 hours later.
Do you watch videos or concerts? Because I always watch live. I like to see what they do live. The
Yeah.
bands that I haven't seen live.
Sure, but I would say
What?
that I get roped into more of the music videos.
By the way, David Lee Roth.
Yeah.
You mentioned him, so I have to say this.
Yuck.
What?
Yeah, David Lee Roth. Dude,
Are you icking David
I'm
Lee Roth?
icking David Lee Roth. Yes. He ruined Van Halen.
David Lee Roth is returning to the concert stage. 5 years after his last full live show and nearly 4 years after announcing his retirement, ladies and gentlemen, David Lee Roth is back.
Do not waste your money. The only concert that I've ever been more disappointed in than seeing Van Halen at the end with David Lee freaking Roth was when Bob Dylan came to Portland. That's the only concert that can compare for suctitude. David Lee Roth butchered that entire show.
So he performed May 3rd at a rock festival in Columbia, Maryland, along with Sebastian Bach, Lita Ford, and Ace Frehley.
Sebastian Bach.
By the way, that guy, you want to talk about, and I was at that David Lee Roth show you're talking about. Yes, he was objectively awful.
Awful.
But it was awkwardly bad.
Yeah.
But Bach was equally bad. Do you remember when we went down for the Ducks title game and it was in Arizona? I think that's the one where they played. That
was Ohio State.
No, that was in Dallas.
Yeah, that was
Auburn. It was the Auburn game.
Yep.
That was when Sebastian Bach did that Oregon song,
Yeah.
and they brought him out there. Oh my god! That was because that song kind of slapped.
Yeah. Oh my god!
And
the
then
end of this game.
They brought him back. Oh god, they're gonna win.
Oh my god!
Wait, you're ahead of us. Ah, we hit a 3 to win it.
He missed the second free throw, got the offensive board, and hit the 3.
Indiana's gonna win.
Oh,
1.1 seconds.
wow!
Here's the heave. Oh my
Wow.
god!
So-
What did you just say, Sukanik?
How could they possibly? They were up
There's
5.
no way.
They were
Something
up
like that.
5 with
5 is
like
nothing.
30 seconds left. They had the ball.
5 is nothing in the NBA.
So let me.
Do you watch the NBA? Wait, don't answer that.
So hold on. So the Indiana was that Halliburton missed the free throw, got his own rebound, and then hit the 3 to win by 1.
And
Did he miss it on purpose?
I think he had to because they were down 2.
Well, then he just took the ball out to the top of the key and he just shot. I mean,
Oh, and then he did the Pedro Serrano celebration
Wow. Yeah, he did.
with the marbles.
He did the
Come
marbles.
on,
Holy F.
that was awesome.
Dude, the playoffs are bananas.
Pacers
and by the
up
way,
2-0.
that's a great. You have no marbles.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap.
Do we like Halliburton now?
No,
long as his
because
dad's not around.
His dad's a giant douche, so no, but
All right, we get it. What was I going to tell you? I don't
know.
We'll wrap it up next on The Fan.
After 257 selections, NFL War Rooms rest.
Bitching about wide receiver is one of the dumbest arguments I've heard.
Who won the battle?
You get Mason Graham at 5, and you get some more capital. I think that's a win for Cleveland.
Who should surrender?
An F- for Jackson. How do we feel about Jacksonville next year? Is that a playoff team? Does Trevor Lawrence seem like he's a quarterback that's ascending to the right spot?
Talk about it and get the inside story from Portland's sports leader, 1080.
Yeah, well, you can take him when we want to.
The Fan.
Isaac and Suk here with Ken and Donnie, the advocates. You know, how does somebody know that they should call you based on the severity or lack of severity of their injury?
If you're hurt in an accident, call us. Don't worry about, is this too small? We'll let you know. The consultation is free.
How about that? Honesty. For once. Go figure.
Yeah, if we can't help and we're not going to add value, we'll tell people you're probably going to be better not hiring a lawyer.
You need more than a lawyer. You deserve an advocate. Advocateslaw.com.
You have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider,